Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all to the May 12th meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. My name is Jeff Carson. I'll be serving as chair of tonight's meeting. We'll make a few introductions before we get started. With me here in the chambers, I have Commissioner Ward and Commissioner Beth. Online with us, we have Commissioner Ernst, Commissioner Mueller, Commissioner Schwartz, Commissioner Easterwood, and Commissioner Armstrong. I think I've got everybody. We also have Michael Farley here with Unified Government Legal Counsel, and with the Department of Planning and Urban Design staff, we have Rose Morris up here on the dais with us. And then at the staff table, we have Rodney Lucas, Byron Toy, and I'm sorry, Alyssa Marcia. I'm sorry. I don't think we've ever met face to face. There we go. All right, thank you. So with that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Rose Morris, who will read the opening statement and tell everyone how we're going to run the meeting tonight.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have Mr. Jeff Carson serving as chairman this evening. Please note the following instructions for this meeting. If you're joining by Zoom video, please make sure that you have an appropriate background. Board members that are participating by Zoom, please make sure that you use the raise your hand feature when you want to speak. Then after Chairman Carson recognizes you, please unmute your microphone and state your name when you begin to speak. If you are in the commission chamber, please state your name before speaking once the chairman recognizes you. For those members of the public attending and in the meeting virtually this evening, please use the raise your hand feature when you want to speak on an application. If you are present in the commission chamber, please come to the microphone at the front of the room when the application is called. After the chairman recognizes you, please state your name and address and make your comments. If you're having issues getting into the Zoom meeting, please see the Planning and Urban Design website at wicokck.org. Proper meeting decorum is expected of all participating in the meeting, and anyone who fails to act properly may be removed from the meeting. The city reserves the right to discontinue a meeting if any improper behavior occurs which prevents the uninterrupted conduct of business. The format of this evening's meeting is as follows. The applicant will make an opening statement explaining their proposal. This applicant will be given 15 minutes to present their case, which includes the applicant, consultants, and other members of the applicant's team. Members of the board will then address questions that they may have to the applicant. Any persons wishing to speak in favor will be recognized and allowed to do so at that time. Then those in opposition will be recognized and allowed to make their statements and ask questions, with each member of the public being given 5 minutes to express their opinions. Time may not be shared between speakers. A speaker's time may be extended in 5-minute intervals by a 2/3 majority vote by the board. The chairman will ask for a show of hands of people who are in support and opposition who do not wish to speak. The applicant will then answer questions and then make a closing statement. Then the public hearing portion of the meeting will be closed, and the public will only be allowed to address the board if a question is directed towards them. Then the staff will make their recommendation, and the board will discuss their application and make their decision with a brief statement onto the reason of the motion proceeding, of the making of the motion. Motions shall include the staff conditions unless otherwise stated in the motion. The first application that we have today is variance application BOZA 2024-024, Jesus Santoyo. It is at 2542 South 12th Terrace, zoned R1B, single family district. This appeal has been filed to keep 3 accessory structures. Section 27609-2 states that for any dwelling unit, there may be permitted detached accessory buildings. Such building may not be located in front of the house, less than 2 feet from the alley, nor closer than 3 feet to any side or rear property line. In the case of corner lots, a detached accessory building shall not be within 20 feet of the side street. The total area of detached accessory building shall not exceed 1,000 square feet or cover more than 30% of the required rear yard. The applicant requests 3 accessory structures, a violation of 2 accessory structures. This case is in conjunction with SP 2024-088. Does anyone have any contact to disclose on this application?
No. Thank you, Mr. Santoyo. Are you available? Are you in the audience? Want to come up to the microphone, please? Okay, welcome. I just need you to start off with your name and address and then tell us what you want to do on your property.
Yes, Jesus Antonio, 2542 South 12 Terrace.
Okay, and what are you wanting to do out there?
He is my interpreter.
Okay, that's fine. Go right ahead. Tell us what Mr. Santoyo would like to do.
We're trying to be able to keep our sheds on our property. We have 3 sheds right now.
3 sheds?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then we already follow the processes and they're all 20 feet away from the streets and from the house. And it said that if anything, we could try to connect them together and we'll probably end up doing that. And then if not, we'll probably just take one away. So that can go make the problem less.
okay, were the sheds there when the property was purchased or did you put up the sheds or did he put up the sheds?
Yeah.
Okay, so the sheds have been put up since he's owned the property.
Yeah, after the day it was bought, yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? And this is for the keeping of pigeons?
Yeah, we have pigeons. Yeah, we're in ¿cómo se dice? El lugar de las palomas.
¿Cómo?
El nombre de la pigeon.
Pigeon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
la-
pues el nombre.
En
¿En qué estás inscribido?
una unión de todos Estados Unidos.
He's in a pigeon union that's all.
Why don't you get a little closer to the microphone?
He's in a pigeon union, which is all around the US, which he registers pigeons and he's able to fly them all over the US. So it's like an organized thing. It's not like we're doing something that,
It's not a hobby?
yeah, it's
Okay.
like a hobby that a lot of people do.
How many pigeons?
Like 40.
Okay,
Yeah, they're little birds. They don't make noises like roosters or nothing.
and they're all in all 3 buildings?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from the members of the commission? All right, seeing none, we'll open up the public. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please come forward or raise your hand if you're online. Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to staff and get their comment.
Thank you, Rodney Lucas, Interim Assistant County Administrator, and filling in for the Director, filling in as Director. I just wanted to say that staff has reached out to them, Chair, and tried to work with them. At this time, staff recommendation to the Board of Zoning and Appeals is to deny the appeal for BOZA 2024-027, subject to all the comments listed below, the 5 comments.
All right, questions for staff? If not, I will stand for a motion when ready. Anybody need any clarifications? Go ahead, Commissioner Easterwood.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I make a motion to deny application subject to staff recommendations and conditions.
All right, motion made for denial by Commissioner Easterwood. Is there a second? Okay, I'm not seeing a second, so that motion is going to die for lack of a second. Is there a substitute motion? Cue the Jeopardy music while we wait. Commissioner Schwartz.
I make a motion to approve. Sorry, I was trying to pull it back up again. But can you give me the number real fast?
Number is BOZA case 2024-027.
I make a motion to approve BOZA case 2024-027 based on staff stipulations per approval.
All right. Thank you. Motion for approval of BOZA case 2024-027 made by Commissioner Schwartz. Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion on the motion for the 3 accessory structures? Seeing none, roll call.
Armstrong? Aye. Beth?
Aye.
Easterwood?
No,
Ernst?
Aye.
Moeller?
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 5-1.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Did you get Ward?
Oh, I thought I did. Did I not? Okay, I'm sorry. Ward?
Aye. Thank you.
6-1.
Okay,
is that
6-1. Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
thank you. All right, gentlemen, motion passes.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, our next application is BOZA 2025-11, Austin Thompson with Atlas Land Consulting. It is located at 11440 Leavenworth Road, zoned AG Agricultural District. This appeal has been filed to grant variances from the required minimum or from the minimum required acreage in the AG Agricultural District. Section 27452A requires agricultural lots to be a minimum of 5 acres. Lot 1, the applicant is requesting a lot area of 3.67 acres, a violation of 1.33 acres. Lot 2, the applicant is requesting a lot area of 3.11 acres, a violation of 1.89 acres. This case is in conjunction with Plat 2025-004. Does anyone on the board have any context to disclose on this application?
No.
No.
Mr. Thompson, are you in the audience? Austin, there. Crystal, are you going to be presenting in this case? Crystal Voth?
Hi, yep, it's Crystal again.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much. I'm here on behalf of Atlas Land Consulting and Mr. Aaron Crow, the owner of the property. As the staff report stated, Mr. Crow is desiring to divide his property into 2 lots. Those lots would not meet the agricultural zoning district minimum lot size requirements. However, he currently has a pole barn, which has the home located within it, and then he plans to build a home. And so if we don't maintain the agricultural zoning district, what is going to become the pole barn will exceed the allowable accessory building coverage. And so that's why we're requesting to maintain the agricultural zoning instead of rezoning to a different zoning district. There's no plans to do any sort of agricultural activity or anything like that other than just, your very regular large lot development out in this part of the community. Accessory structures, 1 home. There are no plans to divide this property further, as is stated in the staff report, the drainage area from Connor Creek, and I believe there may also be a sanitary, or it may not be a sanitary sewer line. I may be making that up, but there were a couple of difficulties with that northern terrain that makes it nearly impossible to develop that area. So it's really just a variance to allow us to divide this property into 2 pretty equal sized parcels and maintain the agricultural zoning district. I'll answer any questions that you may have. We appreciate your consideration.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant's representative? Seeing none, we'll go to the public. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, raise your hand. Mr. Palmer. Your name and address, please.
Neil Palmer, 2600 North 131st. Didn't come to this meeting with this on the agenda in mind, but I will tell you, these people take very good care of their property. They've made a big improvement to a very difficult corner in the Piper community, and I would be in supporting and allow them to continue the upgrade that they've started on their parcel.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else want to speak to this case? Raise your hand or come to the microphone. All right, seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to Mr. Lucas to get staff comment.
Thank you, Chair. Rodney Lucas, Interim Assistant County Administrator. Staff recommends to the BOZA Committee approve case BOZA 2025-011 subject to all comments and suggestions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
make a motion to approve BOZA 2025-011, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion for approval made by Commissioner Ward of Boza case 2025-011. Is there a second, Commissioner? Seconded by Commissioner Beth, here in the chambers. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller. Moeller,
I got a thumbs up, so he
Okay.
must be having trouble
Okay.
with his mute.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you.
All right, our next application is BOZA 2025-012, Mike McCone. It is located at 13100 and 13130 State Avenue, zoned CP2 Planned General Business District. This appeal has been filed to build a 99,800 square foot contractor flex storage facility. Section 27467E uses in this district require paved off-street parking at a ratio of not less than 4 spaces per 1,000 feet of floor area in the building. The applicant is requesting 4 parking spaces, a violation of 395 parking spaces. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Thank you. Mr. Finn, are you presenting on behalf of Mr. McCowen?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, please. Your name and address.
So my name is Dan Finn, 1270 North Winchester, Olathe, Kansas, civil engineer with Phelps Engineering.
And go ahead and tell us what you're wanting to do here.
So this project is in conjunction with a rezoning application that will be heard later tonight for Planning Commission. So this project includes a combination of contractor storage and an indoor climate controlled self-storage facility. So with that, the required parking code is strictly based on square footage. So this use really doesn't apply very well to that type of code. So we have a total of 345 indoor climate controlled units. With that, the total square footage is 99,800 square feet. And as staff mentioned, based on 4 spaces being required for every 1,000 square feet, you would end up with 399 parking spaces for the climate controlled storage facility. Based on other climate controlled storage facilities around the area, we are proposing 4 parking spaces that would be utilized strictly for patrons coming to the facility to lease a space from the office. There's a small leasing office in the facility, and those 4 parking spaces would be utilized for the manager of the office as well as patrons coming to lease a space. Once you have a space, there is area on site within the gated area for parking. There's 2 unloading bays, and that would be utilized for people that do already have space on the facility. So it's really just getting approval of the reduced parking to be more in line with a typical indoor climate controlled facility compared to requiring the spaces per square footage.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, raise your hand. If you're online, come to the microphone if you're in the chamber. Mr. Palmer, why don't you get a seat up front? Or come up here and sit next to me or something.
Neil Palmer, North 131st. This is exactly 1.5 miles south of me. And I think this is a very valid request. This amount of paved area in this drainage basin is only going to serve to exacerbate the water that has to go through there. So we don't need any more impervious surface down there, and I would wholly support this request.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
motion to approve BOZA 2025-012, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion to approve Boza case 2025-012 made by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Beth. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
No.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6-1.
All right, thank you.
Okay, our next case is variance application BOZA 2025-013, Robert Becker. It's located at 1879 Village West Parkway, zoned RP6, planned high-rise apartment district. This appeal has been filed to grant a variance for building setbacks, open space, and off-street parking. Section 27461C 2B states that side yard interior setback shall not be less than 10 feet between any building and any property line, plus an additional 3 feet for each story over 4, to a maximum requirement of 25 feet. Applicant is requesting 19.6 feet, a violation of 2.4 feet. Section 27461 C2D states that the rear yard setback shall not be less than the height of the building. The applicant is requesting 26.6 feet, a violation of 66.5 feet. Section 27-461 C3, the building floor area shall not exceed 3 times the area of the site, floor area, and an area equal to at least 40% of the site area shall be maintained as non-vehicular open space. The applicant is requesting a floor area ration 4.77 and 21.63% of open space, a violation of 1.77 and 18.37%. Section 27461D states that 1 parking space should be provided for each dwelling unit that has 1 bedroom or less. Provided, however, that buildings designed solely for senior or retired persons need to provide no more than 1 parking space for each 3 dwelling units. 1 and 1.5 parking spaces shall be provided for each dwelling unit that has 2 bedrooms or more, provided, however, that buildings designed solely for senior and retired persons shall provide parking as required by the Planning Commission. The applicant is providing 281 parking spaces, a violation of 19 parking spaces. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No.
No.
Mr. Becker?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Aaron March with the Ralph Fretz White Goss Law Firm here today on behalf of the applicant, Legends 267 LLC. With me is Mr. our Misters Bob Becker and his son Luke Becker,
Okay.
the developers of this project.
Sounds like we have some cleanup.
We hope it's cleanup.
Okay.
Somehow, some way, we came before the planning commission and you approved our preliminary plan, our final plan. We went before the Board of Commissioners. They approved our rezoning and our preliminary plan. We came back before you for a sign variance. You approved it. We were issued a building permit. We were issued a certificate of occupancy. We're now almost 90% occupied. North of 200 people live in this apartment, and somebody was interested in buying our project, and they came to staff and they asked for an analysis, and they said, whoa, wait a minute. All of those things may have happened, but there's some variances that should have been applied for and granted. And I'd like to run through all of this really quickly. If I could just have the first slide. This is a slide that shows our location. We're at the southeast corner of Parallel Parkway and Village West. We've been operating there for a while. This all may look familiar to you. This is the same slide we showed you when we came before you asking for our approvals. 267 Class A apartments, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, parking garage, which is built within the building, all sorts of amenities. It really brought a true resident base to the Legends that was sorely needed. Next slide, please. This is the project history. As I mentioned, we came before you for our preliminary development plan, final development plan in January 21.
Board of Commissioners approved our rezoning and those same preliminary and final plans in January 28th of 21, came back before you for a sign variance in May of 2023, issued a C of O August 28, 2024, and just a couple of months ago, somebody said, wait a minute, how did you do this without the variances? Next slide, please. This is a copy of our certificate of occupancy that was issued August 28th, 2024. We are, again, as I said, almost 90% leased up and occupied. Next slide, please. This is a picture of the project. It's a wraparound construction with the garage hidden by the building for the most part. And to the left is another garage. It's part of the Legends that is also there available for the general public. Next slide. Just another image that shows the signs that you all, one of the signs that you approved gave us a sign variance. Had we known that we needed these variants, had anybody mentioned it, we would have clearly come back at the appropriate time before a building permit was issued and asked you to consider granting those variances. Next slide, please. In chart form, you can see highlighted what was approved in our preliminary development plan or final development plan and what was built. We complied with the plans that were approved from top to bottom. Our interior side yard setback is variance that we need. We're 2.5 feet off. We need that variance. Our rear yard setback, there's a little confusion. We think we need 93.1 foot variance because we're built right up to the property line. The staff report that it does have a recommendation for approval has 66.5 feet. So if it is your pleasure to approve our variances, we would ask that you grant the larger variance as called out in the staff report in this chart as opposed to in the staff report. The FAR variance is 1.77. Our open space variance is 18.37%. And a 19 parking spot variance is requested. But I'd like to point out the garage that we built within our building is actually 631 parking spaces, more than ample to handle our needs. But we, by contract with Unified Government, have designated 350 of those available for the general public. So they're not dedicated to our tenants, but our tenants can use them. So we have more than enough parking. And in almost 1 year of operating history, haven't had an issue with parking out here at all. Next slide, please. I won't go through any more. I won't go through this slide point by point, but we were thoroughly vetted and reviewed by staff, by Planning Commission, by the Board of Commissioners, and just somehow nobody caught the need for these variances. And planned districts, I might add, under the code, planned districts are allowed that the Unified Government Board of Commissioners can grant waivers at their level that we don't necessarily need the variances. We think maybe as a matter of law, they've already been granted by approval of our preliminary development plan and final plan. But we're here with belt and suspenders to make sure it's clearly shown that we have the variances. Our parking variances I've already talked about. We have 281 parking spaces available in the garage designated for the apartments, and an additional 350 are available because they're built. We have a total of 631. And if we need even more parking, next slide, there's the parking garage that is attached to us by a pedestrian bridge immediately to the east. Do have one comment to the condition of approval that staff has asked for. Condition number 1 says regarding on-site landscaping, it is subject to bond number 67710. The work is completed. All of our landscaping pursuant to our approved landscaping plan is in. This bond is just to make sure that the plants survive yet another year to 2026. So we would ask that you eliminate condition number 1. The landscaping's in, the bond's in place. There's nothing more for us to do. It's just one less thing we have to explain. So with that, in summary, we ask that you would recommend, next slide, please, that you'd approve the variances as set out in this chart, which match up with what's in the staff report, other than the rear yard setback would be a 93.1 foot variance, not 66.5 feet, and that you delete condition number 1. And with that, I or the Beckers would be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, thank you.
I would offer this packet into the record. It's the certificates of occupancy, the approved building plans, preliminary development plan, and the PowerPoint. Would offer that for the record. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much. Any questions for this applicant? Very thorough, I guess. Okay, we'll go ahead and open up the public. Anyone want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward or raise your hand if you're online. We'll start with Neil Palmer. Oh, no, not this time? All right, you're good. All right. Anyone else? Anyone online? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his comment.
Thank you, Rodney Lucas, Interim Assistant County Administrator. Well, as regard to the request, staff recommends approval of BOZA 2025-013 with the condition of eliminating the bond on 1 and the condition they asked for in the inches or feet they needed appropriately for what they were requesting, sir.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion. I'm sorry, Commissioner Ward? Nope. All right. I'm sorry, I'll accept a motion when ready, and I believe that's Commissioner Ward.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve BOZA 2025-013, correcting the rear yard setback to 93.1 feet and eliminating condition number 1.
All right, thank you. Motion made to approve BOZA case 2025-013 with the added stipulations made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Armstrong?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. That does conclude the Board of Zoning Appeals agenda. We'll take a 5-minute recess. We'll start the City Planning Commission promptly. Thank you all very much.
Hello, Rose.
Mr. Chairman, I can't hear anything.
I need
Okay.
Commissioner
Does it
Armstrong.
work now?
Have you all not heard anything up until now? I'm gonna have to ask you to back up a little bit. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, folks. Maybe we can do a condensed version of where we are right now.
Okay, so the online commission members did not hear? Is that
No,
correct?
evidently not. You did not hear, correct? That is correct. Sorry about that.
Got to shut this off. Okay, I will back up again.
My apologies.
Oh, no need to apologize. Lavert Murray, Chief Economic Development Advisor. What you have before you is an ordinance that the legal staff was directed by the administrator and mayor after consulting with other various commissioners to change the structure, if you will, of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Oftentimes, matters going before the Board of Zoning Appeals because of the way it is structured does not go, or the information does not necessarily go to the Unified Government Board of Commissioners. And to seek redress of any decisions made by the Board of Zoning Appeals, one would have to file an appeal before the district court and ask for a district court intervention. There are concerns about that matter not being shared with the Unified Government Commission, and thus it is proposed that the Board of Zoning Appeals be actually be represented by the Unified Government Commission, or I should say 7 appointed members of the Unified Government Commission. This is the first step in that process. The next step would be to take this matter before the Unified Government Board of Commissioners for deliberation and action. Again, this would make our BOZA to be similar to what many surrounding communities are structured, similar to Bonner Springs and Edwardsville, for example. And so that ordinance is before you, and I wanted to explain exactly what it would do, but 7 members of the Board of Commissioners would be appointed to be the BOZA. They would still, I mean, once decisions are made by the BOZA to seek redress, the petitioners would still have to take their matters before the district court. However, you would have your elected body involved in those decisions. So I'd be more than happy to address any questions you might have. And our legal counsel is here, who is very familiar with the ordinance in front of you as well.
All right, thank you. I've got a couple of questions. So again, can you tell me where this started?
It started with concerns addressed through the Unified Government Commission. For example, I'll give you an example. The apartment project on 69th and State came before BOZA, received a variance of, I believe, 82 parking spaces. When that case went before and later the application for rezoning went before the commission, it was not shared with the commission that the project had already received the variance for parking because the commission considered what was being requested to be quite generous. That's just one example. There are others
That could have been corrected by the staff providing that information. I mean, that to me just sounds like an omission that could be easily corrected without taking apart the entire board. I mean, if that's what we're looking at, that's just a lack of information provided to the Board of Commissioners, either through the minutes, through staffing or what have you, correct?
That's true in that case, but there have been other instances where applicants going before the Unified Government Commission had concerns about the BOTA decisions, but I believe the commissioners may have had some anxiety over not being able to weigh into the matter. Because it's not appealable, as you know, to the Unified Government Commission. It has to
Correct.
go to district court. So I believe that all entered into the equation when.
That the
legal-
appeal is still only available through district court.
That is correct. However, the difference is the commission, the elected body would be very familiar with the matter and why it's going to district court since they would have had to deliberate on it.
Okay. And did this go through any type of standing committee or anything like that?
Did not, no.
And are all the commissioners aware that this request is being made?
I do not know if all of the commissioners are aware. Generally, when the mayor holds his monthly meetings with the commissioners, things like this are discussed. I do know that some of them are aware, that some of them have even suggested such changes, but I can't tell you that all of the commissioners are aware. However, and that's why I wanted to point out, this is the first step in the process.
Okay.
The commission receiving the ordinance in the next step would deliberate on this and decide to either advance it or maybe hold with the current
System.
arrangement.
And the current arrangement, when was that put in place? Was that put in place after consolidation?
It was, I mean, there's been revisions to chapter 27, but I believe it was put in place as a part of the charter ordinance revisions and how planning was designed at that time.
So it's been this way for nearly 28 years.
I didn't study that part, but that's possible.
Close. Okay. And then the way this would work would be, so the Board of Commissioners would essentially be the Board of Zoning Appeals, and there would be a rotating factor and then the number of people that would be involved. When would that meeting take place?
The actual BOZA meetings, I don't know that that's been determined. I mean.
Would that be deliberated at a later point on how the actual structure would work?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. All right.
And keep in mind, I mean, the commission, as they deliberate on this, they may propose some other changes to enhance the system, but it's not all been decided, and maybe legal might have some comments on that.
Well, my assumption would be, and I would hope that it hasn't been decided, or else I don't know why we're here tonight.
Yeah. I mean, it's not in the ordinance, but.
Mike Farley with UG Legal. Right now, the ordinance says that the chairperson of the Board of Zoning Appeals is the one who, who picks the regularly determined meeting date.
So they would call a meeting.
Yes, they would call the meeting and well, regularly scheduled, and if there were to be a special meeting.
So
that is
essentially,
up to
they
the
could
chair.
call a meeting right before our meeting, right before the City Planning Commission meeting, which we would convene, and then we would have to wait for that meeting to be over before we could convene our meeting. Is that correct?
Correct. They could call a meeting at that time.
And that would, regardless of how long it took for them to deliberate over Board of Zoning Appeals matters.
That is correct.
So essentially, we could have a 7, 8, 9 o'clock meeting before ours would even start. So members of the public could have to wait for that period of time.
Correct. I mean,
I know they do that, they could do that now, but there's a different body making those decisions, and that's a political one that makes those decisions. And we've all been to a Board of Commissioners meeting, and we've seen how long they can last sometimes. I'm sorry, I know.
won't comment on that.
I know there's a little chuckle and you can't comment on
right.
that, but I'm
Yeah,
just
so
saying that's a
there's
different type of meeting with a different type of individuals that are making those decisions.
That is correct. Now, I do want to acknowledge that the Board of Commissioners would be sitting they would not be the elected commissioners sitting as the Board of Zoning Appeals. They would be Board of Zoning Appeals members held to that standard. So
But they also hold a position as a Board of Commissioners. So I mean, yes,
no,
you're saying one thing. I know they're supposed to take that hat off. Okay. Let's just leave that.
Okay,
Let's
I
just
think- I
lie
think
that
you
right
understand,
there.
yes.
We'll just put that right here. All right, thank you. Other questions for Mr. Murray? None? Okay. Well, so we need a motion to approve or hold over if we need more information or deny this proposal and sending it to the Board of Commissioners. Is that correct, Mr. Toyer, Mr. Lucas?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Byron Toy Planning Department, but I also think you need public input, as public comment.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for reminding me. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this ordinance change in favor or in opposition? Please raise your hand or come to the microphone. Mr. Palmer. And James, I have you down online and we'll certainly reach out to you as well. Yes, sir.
Once again, Neil Palmer, 2600 North 131st Street. This is a very, very important ordinance. And I think a lot of us are just hearing about it for the first time tonight. I did make a request for the agenda for both meetings tonight. I didn't get that until late this afternoon. There's a lot of stuff going on with different formats, and I understand that, but I think this would be one that I would strongly recommend that this commission hold over for additional thought and input. I don't know how long you guys have had it in hand. I do have concerns about a political body that's elected and being able to wear the right hat at the right time. You guys spend a lot of time talking about property lines and setbacks and all kinds of things that are important, that dovetails to your job as a commissioners in the zoning appeals, not to mention how many feathered friends people can have and not have and other things. I would hope that the Board of County Commissioners might have a higher calling in mind than to deal with most of the issues that come up. And if you look at the issues that come before the Board of Zoning Appeals, most of it gets corrected here in very quick succession and order. There isn't a whole lot of whatever. If I was to make a suggestion, rather than go to district court for an appeal, you might look at an ordinance that says, you know, if it goes through plan commission, if there's a variance required and that variance isn't approved, maybe then it goes to the Board of Commissioners as a whole, wearing those hats that they already have. And if there's no satisfaction, then go through the legal process and district court for appeal and use that as an interim step. But rather than have to go do the legal thing, we can at least go to the commission to receive satisfaction then. It's something to consider in the ordinance. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else here in the chamber before I go to online participants? All right, thank you. I'm going to go to James online. James, please unmute yourself. Give us your full name and address, please. James. Sorry. I did. He's unmuted. James, one more chance. I've got you unmuted, ready to speak. Okay, now you're mute. There you go. You just took it off. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Try it one more time. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, and you did. Give us your name and address. I'm sorry we're unable to hear you. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public portion of the meeting. I don't have anybody else that wants to speak to the issue. And I guess we need to go to Mr. Lucas for any staff comments.
Staff recommends that we move it forward.
Okay. I guess I just have one more question for legal counsel. Is there anything in our current situation that provides for the commissioners to read the staff reports prior to us getting them and then having a conversation with the commissioner which they've appointed to represent them? or that they're appointee to this commission? Is there anything that prohibits them having a conversation with us about any matter that's on the Board of Zoning Appeals or the Planning Commission for that matter?
Michael Farley, legal counsel. To my knowledge, there is not.
So they could have input on those cases now, they just have chosen not to.
The code is silent on that matter. It does not encourage, but does not prohibit your appointing commissioner to speak to speak with their appointee on the commission to read.
All right, thank you. Mr. Murray, I want to go back to you. So has that been discussed at all? That they already have the right to have that input through their appointee on the commission already and just haven't exercised that right by reading the planning commission's staff recommendations and things before the meetings?
Lavert Murray, Chief Economic Development Advisor. Yes, that has been discussed somewhat, and I think the problems have arose because not the recommendations or the action taken by BOZA is not necessarily in the staff comments on zoning matters going to the full commission. So it's like the case I brought up on 69th Street. The zoning went to the commission with staff recommendations. The commission was not informed that we've already done or reduced the parking required through the variance. And there have been other cases like that.
Right, I understand that, but I think that's easily rectified
Sure.
amongst the staff. If the staff's doing what they're supposed to be doing on the ninth floor and the planning staff, there should be an open line of communication. If that's fixed, that should take care of that problem that you're mentioning, or the one that keeps coming up. But my point was that are they going to have time? If they don't have time to read staff reports and make comments or make calls to their appointees now, will they have the time to review those staff reports and then have to make those decisions on the fly? I mean, at this point, we're reviewing them and we're making those decisions and that's all we have to do is Planning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals. They have all the other responsibilities they have. Are they willing to take this one on? And then maybe that's something we'll find out on May 29th
Mr.
at their
Chairman,
meeting.
I didn't say they don't have time to read staff reports. What I've indicated is that those staff reports don't necessarily reflect the actions of BOZA. And
No,
so-
I'm talking about the ones we get. Before we take action, there are staff reports. They have the right to contact us, according to Mr. Farley, and make comments about, hey, I have concerns about a 395 parking space variance. And here are my concerns, and have that conversation with their appointee before we ever meet on it. You're talking about once we've made the decision, they never heard the outcome of that case. Now, they're hearing the planning commission cases and had no idea that we approved a parking variance. That, to me, shouldn't happen because that's just lack of communication within the unified government, and that needs to get fixed. That doesn't mean we made the wrong decision. That just means you all haven't heard the decision, and I don't know how that gets fixed. That's something that's internal. That doesn't involve volunteers. That's something that you all need to fix.
Well, and that's absolutely correct, and I agree with you. However, and there was a comment made by the gentleman that came to the mic about the UG perhaps looking at other alternatives besides district court dealing with the matter. And of course, I wanted to clarify and make sure everyone understands, and I think you know, that that is a requirement that is exacted through the state.
State
The
statute.
state requires that.
Correct.
And so we have no other option but to follow the state statute.
And I was going to bring up the fact that if we have to come and listen to a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting right before the City Planning Commission, does that politicize, I mean, would we, not politicize it, but if I hear my commissioner speaking against something in Board of Zoning Appeals, does it impact my decision at the City Planning Commission when I get to the change of zone or the special use permit or something like that? At this point, again, unless they call me, I don't have that interaction. I don't have that. So I guess it could go either way. I guess I'm answering my own question that I had brought up earlier. So, okay, I think that's all I have. Anybody else have anything before we go to a motion?
I have a question.
Commissioner Beth.
Well, I don't know who to answer this, but what's the ramifications of holding it over or moving it on? If it moves on, can it still be manipulated by the commission when they get it, or is it moved on the way it's written, and if it's modified, it has to come back? Or holding over, does it rework it? Maybe Mr. Farley can clarify that a little bit.
Mike Farley, legal counsel. To my knowledge, the Board of Commissioners could make an oral amendment. Now, that is typical for every other planning action. I could do a little research and make sure that that is also correct for a zoning text amendment, because this is, as we can see, a little different than regular planning actions. And since it involves legislation, I could understand where, and I can understand where there might be issues with an oral amendment made after the recommendation has been approved.
Yeah, that would be my question, because if we approve it, we're approving it as written, and then if they modify it, it's different than what we approved. You see what I'm?
Correct. I would have to look at that. What I was trying to say is, as of right now, I don't know anything in the code that would prevent an oral amendment from being made at the Board of Commissioners meeting. But there would be, I could look into state law to see if there's something outside of the UG Code of Ordinances that would dictate, because again, I do understand that this is a little different than a regular planning case. It is technically a legislative amendment. And in that sense, I could understand how there could be, if there are changes made by the Board of Commissioners that were not reflected by what the Planning Commission understood, that there could be an issue there. So I will check on that and see if I can get you an answer right now. If I don't find anything satisfactory, I'll report back to the chairman here and.
But
let that
we're
take-
not going to have an answer before we take a vote.
I will, well, if there's any other comments, I can see what I can do in a couple of minutes.
And it's
there.
within the purview of the City Planning Commission to make this decision and this recommendation, not the Board of Zoning Appeals. This shouldn't have been heard at Board of Zoning Appeals with that hat on.
That is correct, Chairman, because this is a zoning text ordinance that is heard specifically by the City Planning Commission, regardless of who sits on what body.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions or clarifications required for our online members? Our online commissioners, excuse me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you have two people, Commissioner Armstrong, Commissioner Mueller. who have
I'm
their
sorry,
hands
Commissioner
raised.
I'm sorry, you're exactly correct. Commissioner Armstrong, we'll go with you first.
I just had a question for legal. Is there anything statute or ordinance wise that dictates the number of seats on BOZA?
Mike Farley, legal counsel. Yes, state law does require between 3 and 7 members sit on the Board of Zoning Appeals. There is, now to clarify, there is a separate subsection in that same state law that says the Planning Commission can also sit as the Board of Zoning Appeals. That has been interpreted by the UG to mean that the City Planning Commission with 11 members can also serve as the Board of Zoning Appeals with 11 members. Again, that's kind of maybe one exception, but the legal department has determined otherwise, that 3 to 7 member minimum to maximum would apply in any other situation, including the one presented here.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Mueller.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask how many times in the last 5 or 6 years have any cases been appealed to district court?
Mr. Farley, would you know the answer to that?
None that I know of. However, I've only been serving in this role for about a year. So I would not be aware of any that had been appealed to district court prior.
But if we were to hold this over, you could find that out and
That
be able
that
to,
is something I
you could
find.
answer Commissioner Beth's question and Commissioner Mueller's question
I
if
could
we had
do
more
both,
time.
yes.
All right. All right. See, all right, Commissioner Mueller, anything else to follow up, Commissioner Mueller?
No.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Department of Planning Department.
Sorry?
So
Yes.
you had a question originally about communication between departments, and with our variances that are tied to special use permits, to change of zones, et cetera, those are actually included in the report itself. So under the other related cases within that section of the report, it denotes if there's a variance tied to it and what that variance is for, both for for both sides. Any variance, if there's a special use permit, change of zone, vacation, vice versa. Any change of zone that's applied for, there's the variance that's listed in it. So it's in the report from today, going backwards, any variance that we've had in the past for that site, it's listed. So
So the outcomes of this meeting are provided to the Board of Commissioners in the reports that they receive prior to their meetings that they have.
it
Because
is,
they're tied to the decisions they're going to make that evening.
it's noted in there that, for example, a previous case last month, they had a variance with it. In the report, it'll say scheduled to be on the April 13th, 2025 Board of Zoning Appeals, or vice versa, Planning Commission. And that report for the Planning Commission goes forward to the Board of Commissioners. It's still noted in there in that section saying BOZA 2025 insert number was seeking a appeal for parking, appeal for setbacks or whatever. And that's noted in the report.
Well, it was my assumption that you all provided that information. It was not a tightly held secret. Plus the fact that these are public meetings and we do record them and so on and so forth.
That's correct.
All
Thank you.
right, thank you. Commissioner Armstrong, you had a follow-up?
Yeah, just one more question. What is the length that we can hold this over for?
I'm sorry, Mr. Farley.
Mike Farley, legal counsel. I would say that without any other clarification from the code, I'd say that we'd want to stick to that 90-day rule that applies to all other planning items. So, sorry, Commissioner Ward, what was?
30, so we can do 30, 60, or 90.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, 30, 60,
Up
or
to
90.
a 90.
Yep,
So we can
30,
do.
30-day increments essentially up
Okay,
to 90.
gotcha.
Yep, thank you.
Commissioner Armstrong, did that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Ernst.
I'm not going to expound too long since we haven't even gotten started. I would surely love to hold this over, but I'll let someone wiser than I decide how long that would take. I want to observe that the real reason for this is there are a lot of people who don't like us making this decision. They would rather make it to the commissioners, and they have said that vocally in the meetings. Can we switch this to the other meeting so that they get to, decide? And that's okay with me. I'm old enough that I don't care. I do hope that they know that because what we do in our 6 o'clock meeting directly affects what we do in our 6:30 meeting, that we're going to need their decisions well ahead of time so that we can utilize it. And no, we can't sit here all evening while they discuss this, that, and the other. They're going to need to meet beforehand and decide and have the answer for whenever we have our meeting. That's the only observation I want to make.
All right, thank you for that wise observation. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no additional discussion, I will stand for a motion when ready. I'm sorry, Commissioner Armstrong.
Oh, no, that's for the motion.
Go ahead.
I want to move to hold this over for 90 days.
All right, motion for holdover of 90 days made by Commissioner Armstrong. Is that a second, Commissioner Ernst?
I'm with her.
All right, motion for holdover for 90 days made by Commissioner Armstrong, seconded by Commissioner Ernst. Any discussion? And that motion for holdover is to gather additional information before making a final determination or recommendation to the Board of Commissioners, correct?
Attaboy.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
No.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6-1.
All right, thank you. Thank you. And Mr. Farley, you'll get back with us when we have more information.
Correct. So to clarify, the two items you request me to look up are just to make sure that, or see what the procedure is for any amendments made at the Board of Commissioners stage after it's approved by, or recommended approved by Planning Commission, and then to see what's the range in the last 5 years, any variances that were appealed in district court.
I guess as far back as we can go,
Far back as we can go, okay.
that's reasonable. Whether or not we've gone to district court to appeal those decisions, yes.
Okay.
And anything else that may come up in the interim, I guess. All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, I'll continue with the Planning Commission statement. The Planning Commission is a voluntary body of citizens which will review each zoning proposal. For all change of zones, special use permits, vacations, and preliminary plan reviews on tonight's agenda, the Planning Commission makes recommendations to the Unified Board of Commissioners, who will then make their final decisions on Thursday, May 29th, 2025. For final plats and final plan reviews for tonight, the Planning Commission's decision is final and there will not be another hearing. The format of this evening's meeting is as follows. The applicant will make an opening statement explaining the proposal. Please note that the applicant will be given 15 minutes to present their case. The 15 minutes includes the applicant, consultants, and other members of the applicant's team. Members of the Planning Commission will then address any questions that they have to the applicant. Any persons wishing to speak in favor will be called upon and allowed to do so at the time. And those person oppositions will be called upon and allowed to make their statements and ask questions. Please note that each member of the public who wishes to speak will be given 5 minutes to express their opinions, and time may not be shared between speakers. A speaker may request to extend their time, and the Planning Commission may, by 2/3 majority vote, extend a speaker's time in 5-minute increments. The chairman will ask for a show of hands for those persons in support and those in opposition who do not wish to speak. The applicant will then answer questions and make a closing statement. The public hearing of the portion of the meeting will be closed, and the public will be allowed to address the commission if a question is directed towards them. The Planning Commission will discuss the application and make their recommendation. If persons in opposition want to formally protest a change of zone or special use permit, a means is available by legal protest petition, which can be obtained with the necessary instructions by emailing the Planning and Urban Design Department at planninginfo@wycokeck.org tomorrow morning. Any application receiving a unanimous vote of recommendation by the Planning Commission will appear on the consent agenda of the Unified Board of Commissioners, unless there is a request to remove an item from the consent agenda by the applicant, a member of the commission, or other interested parties. The Planning Commission's recommendation will be adopted. The consent agenda is heard at the beginning of the meeting at 7 p.m. The Planning Commission will also have a consent agenda as part of their meeting at this evening. The consent agenda is the first part of the agenda. Items on the consent agenda are final plats, final plans, or special use permit renewals that have received a staff recommendation to approved. Unless there is a request to remove an item by from the applicant, a member of staff, a member of the Planning Commission, or other interested parties, the staff recommendation on all the items of the consent agenda will be adopted by the Planning Commission at one time. I'll read a list of items on the consent agenda, which have then, when I have completed the list, the chairman will ask if there's any request to remove items. This is your time to use the raise your hand feature, be recognized, and request that an item be removed from the consent agenda if you do not agree with the staff's recommendation. If you are in the commission chamber, please come to the microphone, state your name and address, and the item that you want to remove from the consent agenda. The Planning Commission is required to disclose contacts about any item on the Planning Commission agenda. Before each item, I will ask if any contacts have been made, and members of the commission will be asked to disclose their contacts. Please note that your opinions will be forwarded to the governing body for their consideration and make a final decision on Thursday, May 29th, 2025 at 7 p.m. I will now read the items on the consent agenda. First is the consideration of the April 14th, 2025 Planning Commission minutes. Next is special use permit application SP 2025-008. Oh, no. Sorry. First is special use permit 2025-020, Catherine Dumovich. It is a renewal of a special use permit SP 2023-007, expires June 1st, 2025 for heavy truck parking at the American Motel of 7949 Split Log Avenue. Second is PR 2025-010, Dustin Burton with Renaissance Infrastructure Consulting. It's a final development plan for a multifamily subdivision at 11100 State Avenue. These are the items that I just read that are on the consent agenda at this time. Does anyone on the commission have any contact to disclose on these items?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Oh, sorry, one more thing. Please include the following items as part of record for all the items on the consent agenda. The city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the area in question, the city's currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025, the application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo for the special use permit, and the notices in the to property owners. The commission will vote to approve in one vote unless these items, or if someone requests these items to be removed from the consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Anyone on the commission want anything removed from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, no one. Anyone in the audience, would you like to have anything removed from the consent agenda, either online or in person? Raise your hand. All right, seeing none, I'll stand for a motion on the consent agenda as presented. Well, I wish Vice Chair Jones were here. She's a little faster on the clicker than you all. How about Commissioner Ward? Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the City Planning Commission consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Motion made to approve the consent agenda as presented, made by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second?
Commissioner Best second.
Commissioner Beth, second. Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. The special use permits, and Byron, will the plan review go? All right, just the special use permits will go to the Board of Commissioners. That meeting is on May 29th at 7 PM for further consideration.
Okay, now I'll read the items on the non-consent agenda. The first item is change of zone application COZ 2025-002, Horatio Perez. It is a change of zone from R1B Single Family District to AG Agricultural District to keep animals and farm the property at 3505 Sorter Drive. Does anyone have any contact to disclose on this application?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah,
I'm sorry, sir, we're having a little technical difficulty. Go ahead and give us your name and address, please.
Okay, my name is Horacio Perez. So, my address is 3505 Soto Drive, Kansas City, Kansas, 66104.
Okay, what are you planning to do out there?
I make a lot of cleans and I got any animal at all, I read the whole thing. Remember last time I got 7 chickens, so I'll remove everything. That's what I told you. Everything you told me to do, I'll do it. I got a bunch of pictures in here. You can look in the property. And you can see the neighbors. I don't want to involve the big neighbors, but I'm thinking those are one of the cleanest property in there. And I'll try cleaning all the time, and I'll try to do everything he told me to do with the permit. So I hope so you guys do the permit.
Okay, you want to go ahead and give him those photographs?
Sure.
And so you've been doing some cleaning up on the property, you're going to
Yeah.
continue to do that?
And it's a carpet in there.
It's what?
It's about 3 carpets.
Okay,
And those, I'm asking before to Kelly to see I can have it. And last week he told me like, no, you need a special permit. So I told the guy, you need to remove that. Because he told me I got a roosters and I said like, no, you can go anytime and any day and you can check them out, all the property. So I put the carpets in there when it's clean, everything already. He's got only one in there and he removed this week.
that's
So
roosters, right?
Yeah, it's like a hard carpets, the plastic ones, the little metal.
Okay,
But it's in there. Like I say, that one he removed this week. So the thing the guy is the Mother's Day and he's giving don't chance to take it out whole thing, but everything told me to do it, I do it.
Okay, so you're working with the planner to get things cleaned up out there?
Yeah, you can see the whole pictures and I try, like I say, I try right now because my feet, it worked. So I just told a friend of mine to do that for me. Like the one he's got the roosters in there before. And I say, hey, you need to tear out the whole thing in there, everything. I don't need anything in there.
But
So-
you're not subleasing anything anymore to anybody to have those roosters out there or anything like that, right?
No,
And you're not gonna bring those back, right?
no, no. And at least you give me a permit, but right now nothing is coming back.
Well, we're not gonna give you a permit for roosters.
No, like, and you agree with the agriculture, you know what I mean? But I don't want to bring it back, like, and you give me the permit for agriculture, I want to have my, a horse and a cattle.
Horse
It's
and cattle?
Almost 8 acres in there. So there's plenty of room to have in there.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, raise your hand or come to the microphone if you're here in the chambers. Not seeing anyone, so we'll go ahead and close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to Mr. Lucas to get staff comment.
Thank you. Thank you, Rodney Lucas, Interim Assistant County Administrator. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission denial of petition COZ 2025-002 to be changed to special use permit for 1 year for chickens and come back within a year.
Okay, so the recommendation is to deny the change of zoning application and to convert it to a special use application for a period of 1 year.
Correct.
All right. Any questions for staff on the change that he's recommending?
I have a question. real quick.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Gentleman mentioned cattle and horses, so we're not even going to entertain the cattle and horses? Is that what we're doing? We're just the chickens?
Chickens for now, sir.
Okay.
Chickens, I'm sorry, the answer was chickens for now? Okay. Any further questions?
Okay.
All right, so hang on, we're not there. Do you have do you have a question? I'll let you go ahead and ask a question if you have one.
Yes, sir. You guys, he told me, I can have any animal because I got no green. I got those two pictures.
Well, if we change the change of zone to a special use permit, we're approving.
You can see in there, you see a green for those horses? Like I said, I don't want to make it like a bad person. Like, you know, I'll try to make it the cleanest possible. Everything you guys told me to do, I'll try to do. The thing is like, in the next year, I need to make it all the applications, I need to pay for all everything again. And it's hard to me to do that.
And you know what, I believe you. I believe that you're earnest in your effort to get it cleaned up. However, it's unfortunate that we had to get you to clean, here tonight to get you to clean it up. I mean, it wasn't doing that, or you weren't doing that until we got to this point tonight. So, you know, you see how we look at things. All of a sudden you're here tonight, you're willing to do whatever we tell you to do so you can keep what you're doing, but you didn't do it beforehand. So that's where we're at. So and I do believe you when you say you're gonna get it cleaned up, because I think you've been doing some hard work out there. And I know you've got some situations that are preventing you from doing it yourself. So I appreciate that. So we're gonna see if we can get something that works for you. So
Okay.
Byron or Mr. Lucas, with the special use application, the recommendation you're making is chickens only, nothing with how many horses do you have?
Any animal right now.
You don't have
Nothing,
any at all?
nothing.
Okay. So, and your recommendation is chickens only for now, for a year, and see how that goes, and then if that works out, we'll talk about more.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions for staff on the recommendation that he's made? Okay, so that is the staff recommendation, is to deny this change of zone request and to change it to a special use application for 1 year, allowing chickens only. All right. If no other questions, I will stand for a motion when someone is ready to make one.
Mr. Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
the only question I do have is if we make the motion to change it to a special use permit, does that come with a different number?
Good question. And that's a great question, actually.
Byron, sorry, planning department, yes, we'll assign a new SUP number or special use permit number when, depending on what the outcome of this is.
Okay.
We will then assign a new number.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Okay. I make a motion to deny change of zone 2025-002 and convert it to a special use permit where a number will be provided at a later date.
All right, and Mr. Farley, is that a correct motion to make, to do it that way? And do we don't have to deny one and make a new one?
Correct. You could, yes, you make that motion because a special use permit is considered essentially like a lesser intensity use than an equivalent change of zone.
All right, so the
I think
motion
that-
to deny
that
this-
should be saying, let's do a lower zone. So yes, that would be fine.
All right, thank you. So the motion is to deny change of zone application 2025-002 and convert that to a special use application, which the number will be determined at a later date by staff for 1 year.
1 year. Yep.
For 1 year. All right, is there a second? And I see a second. Commissioner Easterwood, is that a second?
That is.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Okay, this is going to be heard one more time at the Board of Commissioners meeting on May 29th at 7 PM. So you got another bite at the apple with the commissioners, okay? So you might want to get with your planner tomorrow, Callie, and she'll talk to you about what was approved tonight and what you can do and what you can't do. And then you've got May 29th, you'll have another hearing on this, okay?
Okay.
Right? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Our next application is change of zone application COZ 2025-004. Mike Malcone is a application to change a zone of CP2 Planned General Business District to CP3 Planned Commercial District for a contractor warehouse and storage facility at 13100 and 13130 State Avenue. This was in conjunction of BOZA 2025-12. The following items were included as part of records for this case. The city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the city's official zoning map for the area in question, the city's currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025, the applications and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant in furtherance of the case, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose in this application?
No. Okay, Mr. Finn, I see your hand up, so we're going to get you queued up to speak. And then go ahead and give us your name and address, please, and tell us about your project there.
Good evening, Dan Finn, 1270 North Winchester, Olathe, Kansas, civil engineer at Phelps Engineering. So with me here tonight as well, Mike McCown and Scott Jones, who represent the owners and developers of the project, Judd Clausen as well with Phelps Engineering, and Stan Hernley with Hernley Architecture. This project is located at the northwest corner of State Avenue and 130th Street. Byron, it looks like you're controlling. If you might flip to the site plan, that would be great. There's kind of the overall location. It sits right behind the existing Casey's at that northwest corner. There's the residences to the north. There's a lot of existing infrastructure that has been installed in these lots. There's the existing private drive and some private storm that takes stormwater from this development to an existing basin to the west. This development would utilize the majority of that existing infrastructure. That existing private drive that loops through the development would remain. On the east side of that drive, next to the Casey's, would be a contractor storage facility. They would be fully enclosed contractor garages with garage doors facing the east and west. On the west side of the site would be 2 more contractor storage facilities and then a 3-story climate-controlled storage building. The project would be phased. It is intended that the phase 1 would be the east contractor storage facility, so the facility next to the Casey's. Phase 2 would be the 2 contractor storage facilities on the west side of the private drive, and phase 3 would be the climate-controlled self-storage facility. As discussed kind of during the Board of Zoning Appeals, there are 4 parking spaces out in front of the climate-controlled storage facility that would be utilized for leasing purposes. There is enough space in front of the contractor storage facilities for a vehicle to park in front of the unit or inside the unit and still have plenty of maneuverability for fire trucks, emergency access, or other patrons utilizing the facility. The site would connect to that existing private storm system, which takes stormwater westerly along State Avenue to an existing detention basin that was sized for this area to be developed. The proposed development has less impervious area than what was planned when that basin was designed, so no additional stormwater treatment or detention is required on site. We are, after discussing with staff, adding some additional stormwater treatment within the curb inlets and grade inlets on the property, just as a little extra, although not required. And then there will be a new public sidewalk constructed along State Avenue. It does not show up on this current exhibit, but we will be constructing a new 8-foot wide public concrete sidewalk along the entirety of the southern frontage to kind of start that sidewalk along State Avenue. The buildings are all fully enclosed. They're a mix of stucco, brick, and insulated metal panel. Building A in particular, the large climate-controlled self-storage building, does not have any units facing to the south. So we did ensure there are no units facing State Avenue. They do have some open units on the west and to the north. The existing landscaping around the perimeter of the site will mainly remain. This includes a large landscape wall on the north side of the site and all the landscaping between the residences on the north. All the landscaping along State Avenue in the right-of-way, and there's heavy brush and landscaping and trees to the west. So this fits really well within those pad sites without disturbing the majority of the perimeter landscaping. With that, the design team is all here to answer any questions you may have, and we appreciate the opportunity to present this project.
Great, thank you very much. Any questions from the commissioners? I am seeing none, so we'll go ahead and go to the audience. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward. Or if you're online, raise your hand. Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the meeting. We'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his comment.
Thank you, Rodney Lucas, Interim Assistant County Administrator. Staff recommends that City Planning Commission approval of petition cause 2025-004, subject to all comments, suggestions outlined in staff report and summarized by the following conditions.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve change of zone 2025-004, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion made for approval of change of zone application 2025-004 made by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second?
Commissioner Beth, second.
Commissioner Beth, second. I am sorry, online, I'll get to you. Seconded by Commissioner Beth. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again, May 29th at 7 p.m. before the Board of Commissioners.
Okay, our next application is special use permit SP 2025-088, Jesus Santoyo. It is a special use permit to keep pigeons at 2542 South 12th Terrace in conjunction with BOZA 2024-027. The following items were included as part of records for this case. The city has currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the area in question. The city has currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff's report and attachments dating May 12th, 2025. The application, other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contact to disclose on this application?
No. All right, thank you. Okay, gentlemen, you're back for the second part of your presentation. So again, once again, I need you to state your name and address, and then I need you to explain what you're going to do one more time for us.
Jesus Santoyo, 2542 South 12th Terrace.
Right, thank you. And it's our understanding that this is a special use application for you to keep the pigeons that we approved your variance for earlier. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And we got about 40 pigeons per building or
No,
40
that's-
pigeons total?
Yeah.
And this is part of a union of pigeon,
There's a place where they're able to race and they're able to compete against each other.
oh, they race?
Yeah, they're racing pigeons, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, just coming off NASCAR weekend, that sounds pretty, I mean, do you paint numbers on the side of them or?
No, we get a chip. sent
I'm
by the-
sorry, that was just a joke. I
okay,
didn't,
okay.
I assumed the answer was no if it was yes, but I appreciate you, you know, at least following me. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you hanging in there with me.
They fly all the way from Texas and make it back to there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I got to make a trip this weekend to Texas, so I'm going to be flying to Texas and back myself.
All right.
All right, sounds good. Anything else you want to add?
Well, we're just trying to be able to keep our pigeons. I mean, it's a hobby my dad and me like, and we just spend all day at the house, you know, we don't.
And they come back.
Yeah, they come back. Yeah.
They're like college graduates' children. They just come back and live at your house again, right?
Yeah.
Can't get rid of them. Okay, I get it. All right. Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll close public portion of the meeting. We'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his comment. And I'm sorry, Mr. Lucas, I stutter every time I say your name. It's only because you're new to the chair. So I'll get it. Thank you.
It's okay, I appreciate it. Rodney Lucas, Interim Assistant County Administrator. In the BOZA application, you guys approved this, so staff recommends City Planning Commission approve SP 2024-088, subject to all comments and suggestions outlined in the staff report and summarized by the following conditions.
All right, is that for a period of how long?
Fire and Soil Planning Department, 2 years.
2 years, all right, thank you. And I just want to make a clarification that is special use application 2025-088. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
make a motion to approve special use permit 2025-088, subject to staff stipulations and comments for a period of 2 years.
Thank you. Motion made for approval by Commissioner Ward of special use application 2025-088. Is that a second, Commissioner Ward? Excuse me, Ernst.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And this is for a period of 2 years. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
No.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 6-1.
All right, gentlemen, one more time, May 29th at 7 PM in this room.
May
Okay,
29th.
May 29th. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Good luck.
Okay, the next application is special use permit SP 2024-100, Tina Alonje with 913 LLC. It is a special use permit to operate a drinking establishment with live entertainment.
I'm sorry, Rose, I'm going to interrupt you. I believe that application is being pulled, correct?
Fire and Soil Planning Department, that's correct. The application was withdrawn.
All right, special use application 2020, is it 2024? Is that correct or is that a typo?
2020 SP 2024-100.
Okay, so special use application 2024-100 has been removed by the applicant or has been pulled from the agenda. So anybody that was here tonight to hear that one, I apologize that we did not make that announcement earlier, but that one has been pulled. And also, just for clarification purposes, the Kansas City Design Center presentation that was in the front of the agenda has also been delayed and been pulled from tonight's agenda. So I apologize if anybody was here to listen to that as well. So Rose, with that, if you go ahead and call special use application 2024-116.
Okay, the next is SP 2024-116, Nadia Griffith with Latin Quarters. It is a special use permit for a drinking establishment with live entertainment and events at 508 Kansas Avenue. The following items were included as part of record for this case. The city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the area in question, the city's currently adopted master plan for the area, Staff report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025. The application, other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant in furtherance of the case, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. All right, thank you. Are you representing Nadia Griffith?
I'm Israel Mendez and Nadia Griffith.
Okay, so
Always been
what's your name?
Israel Mendez,
Okay, and address, please.
508 Kansas Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas, 66105.
All right, and why don't you tell us what you'd like to do out here?
We want to keep our existing building. This is just a renewal. I was under the impression, and by the way, Mr. Lucas is an amazing person. So we met a week prior to this, and we went over everything. I think Ms. Kelly, she's been disobedient, not listening to Mr. Lucas, but I thought we answered all the questions. Fire department was there. We only had one violation, which was extension cord. We disconnected it, fixed it, the critical on site. The other critical was 2 heaters that we had in the basement. Fire department flooded the basement. So we just cleaned up and switched out the heaters, and she suggested we need a permit for that change, but we can get it. But everything is existing. We proved that everything, they went through the whole entire building, and I thought we were gonna show up for a renewal. We got accepted. Remember we talked about you gotta clean, I gotta keep that parking lot clean. So it's being clean. Taxes are paid for, paid $14,000. Everything is clean, bushes, everything's kept clean. It's a beautiful building. I've done the same thing on Southwest Boulevard for 33 years. I know there was a comment, they said that I couldn't, by Mr. Gunner, that I couldn't keep my business online. I've endured Houston's, many restaurants on the plaza in Kansas. Jose Peppers, Corona Cantina, we have our taxes paid. I was under the impression that we're showing up today for a renewal. They gave me a renewal for 6 months, then one for 2 years. And on a technicality, they canceled my permit. All we needed was a phone call to pay $100. I've been coming here almost every month. All I'm asking the city council and the mayor, I got the Bird support, the mayor's support, I believe. All we need is a renewal. Everything is done. Everything's existing. We're not changing anything. So that's just what I think it is. And Mr. Lucas was there, and I thought had everything answered and, all settled. Fire inspections everything is there. But if anyone has a question on anything, I think we've answered all those questions.
Okay, so the recommendation is for a holdover to get some things taken care of. Do you have a parking agreement?
We had a variance for parking, so we don't need an agreement.
Okay, well, we'll find out about that. And then you said all the necessary repairs that was required by the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department have been made?
Correct.
And they've been re-inspected to show that?
They were there. They inspected them.
Okay. And what about holding a new neighborhood meeting that meets the ordinance requirements with or without the variance appeal?
We did have and we mailed the letters. I showed proof to Mr. Toy.
Well, mailing the letters is part one, but then having the meeting, you had the meeting?
Correct. We had the meeting.
And you submitted the meeting minutes for that meeting?
Correct. I took it to Toy.
Okay.
Mr. Byron.
When was that?
When was that, Byron?
It was prior to today.
I believe sometime in late April.
Okay. Okay. All right. Other questions for the applicant? All right. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or opposition? Please come forward. Okay. Why don't you have a seat? Mr. Murray wants to speak.
Thank you.
You bet. Yes, Mr. Murray, once again, your name, please.
Thank you. Lavert Murray, Chief Economic Development Advisor.
Yes.
As Mr. Mendez mentioned, this application came before the commission and was approved for a special use permit. Shortly after the approval, it went before the Unified Government Commission and was approved. Shortly after that approval, we were contacted and were made aware that the applicant had a complaint because as a matter went before the Unified Government Commission, the hours mandated by, or that the staff put on the approval document indicated it was to close at 10 p.m. Now, we did ask, after the complaint was filed, we asked the clerk to look into the matter. We're looking for the minutes from the meeting. Thus far, we have not found any evidence that the Planning Commission mandated a closing time of 10 p.m. That there was a discussion about outside music, and the outside music was to end by 10. There was some perhaps notion of correcting this matter administratively. And of course, Mr. Mendez mentioned the fact that the publication fee had not been paid, but there is some evidence that while he was wanting and willing to pay the publication fee, staff was directed not to accept the publication fee. I mean, that's the allegation. And so we're trying to find out, because we were told that this matter could perhaps be handled, that there was a mistake, that the commission did not intend for this operation to close by 10 p.m. And that's what you have before you. I don't know if there's a way to correct that mistake. And I know that's not, that is not what is presented to you tonight. What is presented is an application for exactly what was requested when the commission heard this before.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll close the public comment and we'll go to Mr. Lucas for his comment.
Thank you, sir. Rodney Lucas, Interim Assistant County Administrator. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission a holdover of petition SP 2024-116, subject to all comments and suggestions outlined below.
How long of a holdover were you requesting, Mr. Lucas?
60 days or until July 14th, or
And you may have said that, and I'm sorry, but I apologize. All right, so you're recommending a 60-day holdover?
Yeah, you had asked Mr. Mendez, the Kansas City Fire Department hadn't had a chance to re-inspect the things that they asked him to look into May 2nd when we all were there.
Okay, all right, so we still have some outstanding issues, and that's hence the recommendation for holdover.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Questions for staff? All right, seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready.
I had a question.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Commissioner Schwartz.
I'm just curious, how did this get back on the agenda, period, if it was just a confusion about what had been approved before? And why is he back up on the docket?
All right, we'll find out.
Byron Toy Planning Department. So I believe not this iteration of 2024-16, but the previous application, the ordinance publication was never published. The ordinance publication wasn't paid, so therefore not published. So to rectify that, essentially SCP that was null and void, this is to correct that action. This SCP that we have in hand today is to pick up where the previous SCP that was approved but never published, therefore void, is to pick up where that left off. So that's why you have it on the agenda tonight, which was held over previously to correct issues, and we're asking for continuous more time, 60 days, to correct all issues for what the applicant is asking for to do.
All right, Commissioner Schwartz, did that answer your question? Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Beth, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Well, what's changed from what we approved before, other than the hours or the confusion, closing time?
Byron Toy Planning Department. So yes, the hours of operation, or outside music, if I'm not mistaken, 10 o'clock versus 1 a.m. I think that was a point of confusion. But since the inspection that Mr. Lucas went to earlier in the month of May 2nd, I believe, there's some things related to the outdoor tent that you actually can see on the screen. That is where the parking is supposed to be for the project, because he did get a parking variance. initially, but with this tent being here, that takes away the parking that's available on site. So either he needs to obtain a variance or parking
That was cleaned up
agreements.
4 years ago.
Okay. You can't jump in.
Okay.
All right.
I'll wait.
Tell you what, why don't you just have a seat? That'll take care of that.
So the aerial photograph we have on the page is from 2024.
So does he need another parking variance?
Either another parking variance or obtain parking agreements for the reduction in parking, and that takes care of
'Cause he-
off-site parking.
He has a parking variance here already, right?
Correct, but that's based upon the parking that was allowed to be on site. And if that's not going to be available on site with a tent or with a pickleball court, as mentioned, then that takes that parking away and that drops it below what the variance was given.
So do they have a pickleball court now? I don't remember that.
No, there's not a pickleball court currently, but
That's one of the conditions we're looking at.
that's one of the conditions that if a pickleball court is wanted or desired by the applicant, that we need to have plans for it, but then.
And
we
then
need to have the
Mr.
parking.
Lucas has a comment as well.
Since there's been so much pain inflicted on this young man, Mr. Mendez, I asked him at the meeting when we're at his place, what all was he trying to do with the property? Thus, that's where these additional things had come into play. Staff, we don't have a problem if you guys want to recommend his approval. No one's trying to stand in his way. There is the amount of 125 that never was paid that got him where he's at now. So we have flexibility, but
What would that
the fire
flexibility?
department was out there.
But we don't have clear inspections.
No.
All right. Any follow-up questions?
Mr. Chairman?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Commissioner Easterwood, 1 second. I just want to make sure Commissioner Beth's question has been answered first.
So the pickleball court and all this are projected things that are not currently there. So with the variance they already have that's approved that goes with the property, do they need anything else? If they don't build a pickleball court or this other stuff, does,
Right. If they don't do all the additional things, then that wouldn't apply.
and
But
those are
also,
things that's not in his request right now. Those are just things he told you for future plans.
yes, sir.
So,
So I was asking him his wish list, if you will.
okay, so we're
So-
not approving his wish list. So his variance for the parking is copacetic for what he has now.
Yes, and just know that also
Does
we're
he,
going
does
to
he
be
still have a
amending.
tent there?
Repeat that again, Mr. Chair, or Commissioner Ward, sorry.
Does he still have a
Yes.
tent there?
So long as the tent is not there, the parking is there on site, the variance that was
Is the,
approved.
is the tent there now?
It's not a tent, it's like two pieces of awning that needs to be removed.
Okay,
There was no tent.
okay.
All right, I'm going to go to Commissioner Easterwood.
Yes, Mr. Chair, my name is Beverly Eastwood, and I wanted to know if these conditions are satisfied prior to the 60-day holdover period. Could it be considered earlier than the 60 days?
I'm getting a nod from Mr. Lucas. So if the conditions were met prior to, we could get this, does it have to be renoticed or anything like that, or how does that work?
Provided nothing is changing related to his wish list and not doing those things, then yes, we could be earlier.
Okay, so it can be done earlier as long as nothing changes, Commissioner Easterwood.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
thank you. Anything else?
Yes. Mr. Mendez would like a 2-year SUP.
All right. So the recommendation is for a holdover, but there is some flexibility on an approval for 2 years if that's the way we wanted to go. And there's the possibility and flexibility that if we do the holdover, it could be heard sooner than the 60-day recommendation.
Correct.
So I'm sending all kinds of mixed signals out to you tonight. So what is your pleasure?
I have another question.
Commissioner Beth has a question.
We've been dealing with this for a long time. Is the holdover going to change anything other than what we would approve, and then with the conditions of approval need to be taken care of tonight to get this moving so we can stop the holdovers? is anything gonna change if we hold it over that's not gonna be able to be addressed tonight? Is my question basically.
Just us rescheduling the fire department to make sure that things are clear by their, because it's, you know, that's the thing of safety. We don't want anybody injured out there.
So the only holdup is the fire department?
And if you guys put the condition, he owes us money of 125.
Well, it's not effective until he pays that though, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Other questions from the commission? I'm sorry, I've got, Rose, could you go ahead and unmute Kelly McLaughlin's staff?
You're unmuted.
Go ahead, Ms. McLaughlin.
Kelly McLaughlin, Planning and Urban Design. Just to clarify a little bit of the movement that has happened in this case, since there's so many moving parts. The reason a 60-day holdover is recommended was so that the applicant had enough time to get on the variance agenda. The deadline for applications for June has already passed. So if they needed to have a variance applied for, that 60 days allows them to have sufficient time to get their application in and still remain on the same schedule with the current special use permit application. The variance is required because the original variance application was dropped down from, I believe, 64 parking spaces to about 32. However, the applicant desires to have outdoor entertainment and periodically has a tent. Even without having the full tent erected, the outdoor entertainment that is on there does take place at the parking spaces, meaning that the parking spaces are no longer available for patrons. So the variance is required to be updated as long as he wants to have any kind of outdoor parking spaces or outdoor usage, in lieu of the parking. So even if he doesn't have the pickleball courts determined or that kind of plan hashed out, if you will, he still wants to have the outdoor entertainment. Thus, he still needs to have a new variance, which is why we need that 60-day holdover. There are some other outstanding items from the fire department that were not rectified on site, including some gas lines and some miscellaneous building permit things. Those can be also clarified within that 60 days and be taken care of. The special use permit, I believe, was for live entertainment, and we've expanded it to include alcohol and excessive food sales. The issues arising from the usage on the second floor from a live entertainment space, we have come to an agreement that it will be no longer used as a live entertainment space on the second floor. So some of that has kind of worked its way out through these conversations, and it will be used again as an apartment. But that does not negate from the missing 30 parking spaces when that parking lot's in use for the live entertainment. With that, that is why staff recommended the 60-day approval so that we are able to get him on the Board of Zoning Appeals in case he does not have parking agreements in place. He says he has informalized agreements, but nothing that he wanted to formalize on paper. Thus, the variance still needs to be applied. Should he get those agreements in place, we can always withdraw the variance and proceed. But he needed that as a minimum, so staff gave him that 60 days as a safeguard time to make sure he was able to apply for that. The $125 ordinance publication fee that was previously talked about, he asked to pay for that this year for a permit that expired 2.5 years ago. And so he is outside of the time to pay for that. The current ordinance that we have in place now relieves him from paying $125 permit fee now. So after this, there's not going to be an ordinance publication fee to collect on, so that issue is no longer a concern. Thank you.
All right, that was a lot of information, and it was a lot of information today at run through. So there are some outstanding conditions that need to be cleared up that the 60-day holdover is going to rectify.
Correct. And also during that time, Mr. Farley can speak to, we're going to be relaxing downtown, parking east of I-635.
Mr. Farley, do you want to make a comment on that one, a short comment about that?
Yes, Mike Farley, legal counsel. The short comment is a moratorium proposal will be coming before the planning commission next month. That would, as Mr. Lucas said, create a moratorium for all parking and commercial uses east of I-635. That would still have to go through the Board of Commissioners as well, the same process we discussed before with the zoning amendment, but you would hear it on June 9th
All right.
for recommendation.
All right, thank you. So further clarifications needed on this one. I'm gonna let you come up. I'm gonna give you very little leeway to speak. And when I say done, you're done, okay? So you had your hand up several times, so what did you want to clarify?
First of all, I want to apologize for interrupting.
That's all right.
Second of all, I'm trying to make Kansas City, Kansas great. I've done everything. Everything is done. Everything's existing. I was just talking about the future. I don't want anything changed. I want the existing permit, everything is the same. Fire department got it approved. I got everything done.
Okay, but we're hearing different. You're saying one, they're saying another. We
Correct.
still have to get another. What about the live entertainment? Do you plan on having live entertainment?
Correct, yes.
Outside?
Yes.
All right. All right. I think that answers the questions
Well,
that were
it's
out there.
just, but it's not on the parking lot. It's just on the little patio areas.
Okay, but it is going to be outside. But it's not going to be in
No
the parking lot
entertainment.
itself.
Well, no entertainment, just music, but there's gonna be no band, no DJ outside, just music. Like when you go to,
You're just sitting outside having dinner. There's some music being pumped out there.
just in the speaker.
Right.
Music, like for the World Cup or something like that. That's why I mentioned to Mr. Lucas, okay, so we're having a beautiful place and there's nothing outside for the World Cup. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay 5 steps ahead of the game, but everything is the same.
Well, I think we're all on the same page of trying to get it done. I think we're just trying to figure out how to get it done. We want to get it done.
I'm sorry, but the parking, all that stuff, everything, I want to keep it the same. The way they inspected it before with the fire department upstairs, downstairs, I just happen to have my rental license active. Everything is active for
Okay.
many, many years. I just want to know, what is it exactly today, if they could share with me, what is it that we need to fix? Because I think I fixed everything.
Okay. Understand.
Can
Well,
Troy tell me?
have a
The-
seat.
the-
Yeah, go ahead and have a seat and
Okay.
we'll try. So at this point, we have a fire department inspection that's outstanding. We have a parking variance. If he doesn't change anything with the parking, does he have to, is he still need a parking variance, whether it be Callie or Byron or Mr. Lucas? Do we have an
If he
issue with
keeps
parking?
everything the same, he wouldn't need a variance for parking.
If everything stays the same and nothing changes, 0. Okay, okay. All right,
I have a
Dwayne,
questions.
there's a question for
Uh,
Commissioner Beth.
This is for legal. When you were talking about the new or whatever with the parking, that's
Moratorium.
the moratorium, that's gonna change any of the, that's not gonna affect this at all, right?
Mike Farley, legal counsel, it would apply to any special use permits that are
But I mean,
applied for.
It's not gonna increase his need for parking.
No, it would not increase his need for
Okay,
parking, no.
so you said the parking variance is good for the way we are now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the next question is, to buy things, could he be approved with the condition of, passing a fire inspection
Yes.
to avoid a 60-day pushback?
I just don't know.
To put that as a condition of approval that he gets the fire inspection.
That's fine.
that's
We
the only
just don't
holdup.
know the fire inspector's schedule, that's all. I don't know how soon they can come back out.
All right, any outstanding issues need to be discussed before we move to a motion? All right, we got several different recommendations from staff. What is your pleasure?
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I move to have a 30-day holdover for a special use permit 2024-116. That seems to be plenty of time to get a fire inspection completed. If nothing else changes, then that should be good.
All right, and basically get all the other items resolved.
Rectified,
All right,
correct.
they can be. All right, thank you. Motion is for a 30-day holdover. Is there a second? All right, I'm sorry, Commissioner Beth, is that a second?
Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwartz, what'd I say? Commissioner Beth? I'm sorry, Commissioner Schwartz.
Yes.
All right, thank you. There's been a second for a holdover of special use application 116 to clarify the fire department inspection and get the other issues resolved as quickly and as simply as possible. Okay, any discussion? Roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. 30 days, let's get together, let's get it all worked out, let's get those inspections done, and let's have a really short meeting next month.
I'll send you the inspection tomorrow.
Don't send it to me, get it to them. You can, that's fine, thank you.
Listen, I apologize for interrupting.
You're good, we're good.
I don't know who told me to take care of the park. I've been taking care of that park.
I know, and so I understand it gets frustrating, believe me, I do. You're good. You and I were good. You'd know if we weren't. All right, there's a list, they'll tell you. All right, thank you. We'll get it done for you. We want to get it done for you. All right, thank you. All right, Rose, let's move it on.
Okay, the next application is special use permit SP 2025-006. Tiffany Clark with Rosedale Roadhouse LLC. It is a special use permit to operate a short-term rental at 1127 Southwest Boulevard. The following items were included as part of record for this case: the city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the area in question, the currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025, the application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose in record to this application?
No. Ms. Clark, are you available either online or here in the audience? Tiffany Clark. All right, Rose, go ahead and move it to the bottom of the agenda and we'll move on.
We have a hand raised.
I'm sorry. Okay,
You're-
there we go. Just made it.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please
Okay.
give us your name and address.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Clark and my address is 22618 West 46 Terrace. That's Shawnee, Kansas.
And tell us what you'd like to do.
I purchased this property that was an existing Airbnb and had been for 6 years. It had also been given 3 permits on 3 different occasions. The last permit was in April 27th of 2023. So when I purchased the property, I knew that getting a special permit would be a process for 3 months. And so when I purchased the property, I got the inspection report. There were some issues that were found. The most concerning one was the electrical issues. And so that was, I believe, the biggest one as far as safety goes for occupants as far as an Airbnb. And so I was able to get an electrician to go in and repair all of those issues just using the inspection report, and it was re-inspected, and an invoice that was itemized was sent to the planner that shows those items were corrected. There were some other issues on the staff report as well. One of the biggest issues was that there were some improvements done to the property, maybe some remodeling done. It was before the previous owner. I had just acquired this property in January. And he had owned it, I think, for 7 or 8 years before that. So it must have been something before him. Those improvements, they're saying there's no permits that were ever put on file for those improvements. And that there were never any architectural drawings done. So those aren't on file as well. So I did have a challenge trying to find an architect that would do a small property for the right price. I have found that person. Those drawings are being done currently, and that is with Evolution Drafting, and so they're working on that. We also have we had someone come out to quote the gutters that were of issue as well, and then we have a plumber, Metro Plumbing, that is going to come out and correct some of the plumbing stuff. But the biggest safety issue was the electrical stuff, and that has all been corrected. So long story long, I am requesting a special permit to operate this as an Airbnb. I know that I have inherited all of the property's problems that we didn't know about. And I'm very willing to correct all those, but it has taken some time to get the right people to do the repairs at the right cost, because it has been quite the cost to get all of this corrected. But very willing to put the money into it, very willing to update and follow any codes, especially new codes that have happened since the last special permit was granted in 2023.
All right. Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's it.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward. Seeing none, we're going to go to Mr. Lucas to get his comment.
Thank you, Chair. Staff recommends approval to the City Planning Commission for 1 year of petition SP 2025-006.
All right, so the recommendation is for 1 year. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve special use permit 2025-006, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion made for approval of special use application 2025-006, made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second? Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Great, thank you. This will be heard once again on May 29th at 7 p.m., Ms. Clark.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, our next application is special use permit SP 2025-04014, Dave Swanson with Swanson Holdings. A special use permit for a short-term rental at 2629 South 49th Street. The following items were included as part of record for this case. The city has currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the area in question, the master plan for the area in question, the report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025, the application, other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. All right, thank you, Mr. Swanson. We see your hand up. Just need you to unmute yourself, please. Give us your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Dave Swanson. I live at 10543 West 168th Terrace in Overland Park. And I'm requesting a special use permit for 2629 South 49th Street. The owner of the property's name is Mikkel Lethko. She has contracted me to professionally manage the property for her. I've been managing properties for 25 years in long-term and medium-term rentals, and have been managing short-term rentals for about 8 years now. I have a very similar story to the one before me, in that Mikkel purchased the property in October of last year. The purchase inspection identified a number of things that needed to be, or that weren't necessarily perfect. Some of those were called out by the committee for the review, in which case I have basically had all of them completed with one exception, and that is the electrical mast on the outside of the house needs to be raised up. It's a very similar thing in that I've been trying to find someone to do it. One, that would actually come out and do it, but then two, that would do it in a, for a reasonable price. So I've identified someone now. They're going to be meeting me out there later this week. But that's the only thing that remains to be done on the list. All the others have been taken care of.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Raise your hand or come forward. Seeing none, we'll go to staff and get their comment. Mr. Lucas.
Thank you, sir. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission approval of petition SP 2025-014 for 1 year short-term rental, subject to all comments and suggestions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Recommendations for approval for 1 year. Is there a motion?
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
move to approve special use permit 2025-014, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion made for approval of special use application 2025-014 made by Commissioner Ward with a second from Commissioner Beth. Is that correct?
Schwartz.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep looking at you and say Commissioner Beth, because let me tell you, there's no difference. There's a big difference. Excuse me.
I'll take that.
No. You should take the compliment, Commissioner Beth. Commissioner Schwartz, you should probably be letting the air out of my tires right now.
Yeah.
So that is a second to the lovely Commissioner Mary Beth Schwartz.
Yes.
All right, I'll get it. It's like my stutter with Mr. Lucas. All right. Discussion, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you. This will be heard once again on May 29th at 7 PM, and you will have a much more efficient chairman at that meeting.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Okay, the next application is special use permit SP 2025-017 Eli Schwen. It is a renewal of a special use permit SP 2022-048, expired October 3rd, 2024, for storage of motor vehicles and other recreational vehicles and equipment for auction sales for Copart at 8400, 8410, and 8440 Gibbs Road. The following items were included as part of a record for this case: the city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the city's official zoning map for the area in question, the currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025, the other documents, plans, pictures, and maps in the application, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contact to disclose on this application?
No. Mr. Schwinn, I see you in the online audience. There you go. Your hand is up. We'll go ahead and get you queued up, ready to speak. Start off, please, with your name and address and tell us what we're doing here.
Hi, Eli Schwinn with GBA at 9801 Renner Boulevard in Lenexa. I am representing the property owner today, who is Copart, and we are seeking to renew a special use permit to continue operations at the site, which is the storage of damaged and undamaged motor vehicles, various types, for online auction. So we have worked closely with the staff on this, and we support the recommendations and conditions that they found. So does anyone have any questions on this?
Yeah, can you explain the expiration of a year ago of your permit and why it hasn't been addressed before now?
Yeah, there's not really a good excuse, I guess, for that. Seems that must have fell through the cracks on someone's end there. We've started this process just at the end of February to get through all this, but that's why we're open to accepting the recommendation of just the 1 year approval going forward with this. So hopefully we can get things cleaned up and stay on track moving forward.
All right, thank you. Any additional questions for the applicant? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case? Raise your hand or come forward. Seeing none, we'll go to staff and get Mr. Lucas's comment.
Thank you, Chair. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission approval of petition SP 2025-017 for 1 year short-term rental.
Not short-term rental, you mean for excavation and?
Sorry.
That's all right.
I was in a rhythm.
That's okay. That's all right. You're one up. All right, so recommendation is for 1 year of the special use application. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward,
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
move to approve special use permit 2025-017 for 1 year, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion for approval made by Commissioner Ward of Special Use Application 2025-017 for a period of 1 year. Is that a second? Commissioner Beth to my left in the chamber.
Commissioner Best, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again on May 29th at 7 PM. And I'm sorry, for clarification purposes, it was for the special use permit for Copart. I think I had moved one ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is special use permit SP 2025-018, Ryan Dink with McInerney, Van Cleve and Phillips, PA. It is a renewal of a special use permit, SP 2019-54, expired May 30th, 2024, for material and rubble clean excavation and stockpiling at 7751 South 73rd Street. The following items were included as part of record for this case. The city has currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the area in question. The city has currently adopted master plan for the area in question. The staff report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025. The application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant in furtherance of the case. The notice in the Wyandotte Echo and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose in regards to this case?
No. Okay, Ms. Dumovich, we've got your hand up, so I'm assuming you're pinch hitting for Mr. Dink tonight. Go ahead and start off with your name and address, please, and tell us what you'd like to do here. And you might address your expiration of your previous permit as well.
Hi, this is Catherine or Katie Dumovich. I'm at 12711 West 102nd Street in Lenexa, and I'm here instead of Ryan tonight. I believe the expiration previously was due to a delay in comparative aerial photos and things that are now attached to our application. And what we're looking to do here tonight is basically approving a special use permit so that we can continue excavation and stockpiling. There's, long story short, basically a giant hole in this area, and we are just looking to fill it and not go above grade. On this was a piece of land previously owned by Caw Valley Sand and Gravel. So the current owner, Mr. Ed Cates, who I believe is also here on Zoom somewhere, is just looking to fill that back up to grade level and not elevate it any higher than that. So we are happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? I'm not seeing any. Anyone in the public want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Not seeing anyone raising their hand or coming forward, so we'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his recommendations.
Thank you, Chair. I won't drop the ball on this one.
Well, I
Staff
dropped it too,
recommends
so.
that the City Planning Commission approve the petition SP 2025-018 for 5 years to complete excavation.
All right, thank you. Staff recommendations for 5-year approval. Any discussion or any questions, for staff on that? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Move to approve special use permit 2025-018 for a period of 5 years for excavation, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, thank you. Motion made for approval of special use application 2025-018 made by Commissioner Ward for 5 years. Is that a second to the lovely Commissioner Mary Beth Schwartz?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm getting it. Any discussion? Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again, May 29th, 7 PM before the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, the next application is special use permit SP 2025-019 Tyler Shirk with Bear Airbnb. It is a special use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental at 2105 West 43rd Avenue. The following items were included as part of record for this case. The city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the zoning map for the area in question, the city's currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff report and attachments dated May 12th, 2025, the application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone in the commission have any contacts to disclose on this case?
No. Thank you, Mr. Shirk. We think we've got you queued up, ready to speak. If you would start off with your name and address, please. Mr. Shirk.
Can you hear me?
We can
Yeah, we
now.
now can
Yes,
hear
go
you.
ahead.
I apologize. I'm a little under the weather. My wife says I have man flu, but I'm at 7140 Park in Shawnee, Kansas. I own Airbnb. We operate several Airbnbs or short-term rentals in Kansas City, Kansas. The client here, Ann Reeson, came to me about 6 or 7 months ago. She had purchased a home and hired a contractor to do some work there, and she trusted that he was pulling permits, and he did not. When she contacted me, we had Wyandotte County come out and give us a report on everything that needed to be pulled and fixed, and we did all of that. We turned it all in. We've done our neighborhood meeting and our letters. We've submitted everything. So now we're just at the point where we're looking to get the home legally permitted.
All right. Any questions for the applicant on this case? Seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Seeing none, we'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his comment.
Thank you, Chair. Staff recommends that City Planning Commission approve petition SP 2025-019 for 1 year short-term rental based on the comments and suggestions outlined in the staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll take a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve special use permit 2025-019 for a short-term rental for a period of, is it 1 year?
Correct.
Subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion for approval made of special use application 2025-019 for 1 year made by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second? Second goes to Commissioner Mary Beth Schwartz, correct? Thank you.
Yes.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard one more time, May 29th at 7 p.m. before the Board of Commissioners. We certainly want to wish you well with the man flu. I have had it. It is the worst possible.
Yeah.
Only a man can know
my
how.
wife's a nurse, so I don't get any sympathy.
There you go. I completely get it. This is a very serious situation. I appreciate you being here tonight, given your grave situation.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, the next application is a special use permit SP 2025-022 Hassan Abdulatif with HM Semi Truck Repair. It is a special use permit for a semi and heavy truck repair and maintenance facility for United Truck Repair at 451 South 14th Street. The current items were included as part of records for this case. The city has currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the zoning map for the area in question, the currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff report and attachments dated May 12, 2025, the application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on this application?
No. Thank you. Yes, sir. Go ahead and give us your name and address.
My name is Hassan. I'm with HM Semi Truck Repair. It's 451 South 14th Street.
Okay, tell us what you'd like to do here.
We just want to open up a semi truck repair shop. It's going to be light use. It's going to be mainly electronic and electrical repair. lots of diagnostic and, just reprogramming and things like that.
Okay, and you've reviewed the staff report and okay with the recommendations that are in that report?
Yes, my only question is, there is already landscaping on the street that faces the outside, or the fence that faces the outside, which is the west wall, and also the fence that already exists. Does that one has to be changed? And if so, what is it doing that's differently than the?
All right, we'll get you some clarification, but
Sure.
anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's all.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Okay, seeing none, anyone in the audience want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one, we'll go to staff and get their recommendation and see if we can get an answer to the applicant's question as well regarding the landscaping. For those of you online, we're doing some research on the landscaping issue. So 1 second.
Byron Toy Planning Department. So I just want to make a point of clarification to the applicant. Are there 23 trees planted on site right now?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, because that was the reason why that was in the report, is that was a previous condition for the previous operator that operated here under a special use permit. So to give a point of clarification, the site previously had a SUP for truck repair, heavy truck repair actually, and they didn't necessarily adhere to all the conditions of approval. This new applicant is not associated with the previous operator. So we're making sure the previous conditions of approval that were placed upon the original are being still met with this group here. So that's why I just want to make sure 23 trees, which is the stipulation from the previous application, that we're taking care of it with this one.
Okay, if we don't know, we're going to leave those in and then we'll just make sure that's a part of your approval, okay? So between you and the staff, after this, if we get you an approval tonight, you'll just work that out, okay?
Yeah, no
All
problem.
right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Lucas, with your recommendations.
Yes, sir. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission approval of petition SP 2025-022 for 2 years.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I move to approve special use permit 2025-022 for a period of 2 years, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
All right, thank you. Motion made for approval of special use application 2025-022 by Commissioner Ward for a period of 2 years. Is there a second? And I see one from Commissioner Schwartz, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beck,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Bowler,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. This will be heard once again, May 29th, 7 p.m. in this room. All right, thank you.
Okay, next application is plat 2025-004, Austin Thompson with Atlas Land Consulting. It is a preliminary and final plat of Crow Estates for subdivision into 2 parcels for 11410 Leavenworth Road in conjunction with BOZA 2025-011. The following items were included as part of record for this case: the city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the zoning map for the area in question, the currently adopted master plan for the area, the staff report and attachments dated May 12, 2025, the application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any context to disclose on this application?
No. Okay, Ms. Voth, are you handling this one also? Yes, I see her hand went up. We're getting you queued up, ready to speak. If you could go ahead and give me the pronunciation of your name.
Yeah, you got it. Crystal Voth.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us what we're doing tonight.
Thank you. So this is the 2-lot plat that goes along with that variance request that we heard previously. Like I said, there essentially the same size lot. They meet the zoning district, or they do not meet the zoning district regulations for the agricultural zoning district, but they meet all other requirements. They're both roughly 3 acres in size. They would be used for residential purposes. Pretty straightforward. We'll answer any questions that you may have. But again, we appreciate your consideration of this.
All right, thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Anyone wish to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Seeing none, we'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his comment.
Thank you, Chair. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission approval of preliminary and final plat of Crow Estates, Plat 2025-003, subject to all comments, suggestions outlined in staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve plat 2025-004, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion. Thank you. Motion made for approval of plat 2025-004 by Commissioner Ward. Is there a second, Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst? Ernst?
Aye.
Moeller?
Commissioner Mueller?
Aye.
Thank you.
Schwartz?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. And this will not go to the Board of Commissioners, so it is approved.
Okay, next application is plat 2025-010, Will Anderson with BHC Roads. It is a preliminary plat to create 6 pad sites for a multi-commercial and residential development at 1300 Stewart Avenue. The following items were included as part of record for the case. The city has currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the zoning map for the area in question, the currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff report and attachments dated May 12, 2025, the application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, the notice in the Wyandotte Echo, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contact to disclose on this application?
No. Thank you. Thank you for your patience, Mr. Anderson. Tell us what you'd like to do.
G'day, Will Anderson, 712 State Avenue, Kansas City, Kansas. It's now BHC Inc., no longer BHC Roads, much as we miss Murray. This is a sort of unique piece of land. We can get a pretty picture up. The land is largely land bank land, and the 2 pieces along the north end are ex-railway line. One of the pieces on the northwest has been converted over and is out of the railway's hands. The other has been taken over by the city and is effectively a vacant piece of land. The reason that we've gone to a preliminary plat is that there's about 4 or 5 entities involved in this development. So there's a substantial amount of engineering work to be done on the site because of grades and access to it. Pointing out as well that as you can't see really well there, but the right of way for Parallel Parkway was never basically killed, if you like, back in the day, and so the right of way has to be re-established as well on Parallel Parkway, on the north side of Parallel Parkway. So the aim for northeast development, which is almost the controlling interest of it, is to plat the lot, formalise a lot of those blocks of land, vacate the roads as required or the streets and the alleyways, and end up with a plat that covers all those lots, and then allow the individual partners or entities to develop those lots. If you have a look at it, northeast development on the east side is tied with community. Vibrant Health is in the middle. Northeast development on the west side will be going to residential. LMK on the north west corner is also going to multifamily. So the aim is to try and sort out the preliminary plat, the right of way and everything like that, and then hand it over to the various entities so that they can do the engineering. There will be collaboration, of course, getting access, because Parallel Parkway is limited access, obviously, so all access comes off the side streets or on the north end. That's what we're here for today, is to just move this through and then start to get collaboration from the various entities.
Okay, just want to clarify, we're at 1300 roads, I'm sorry, 1300 Stewart Avenue, correct?
Stewart Avenue is the street that comes in from the west into the bottom end. Can you show that on the?
I'm just making a clarification for the record because the staff report that I have shows the subject property being 912 North 86th Street. So I think we're talking about, but then the rest of.
There's
Typo?
Typo, yes.
Got it. All right. Just want to make clarification for anybody else that might have read it incorrectly, but we're talking about
Oh, yeah.
13th and parallel, 1300 Stewart Avenue.
That's right.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Anderson? Seeing none, we'll go to the audience. Anyone want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition, please come forward. I've got Candy Leonard Caldwell. Ms. Caldwell, go ahead, please unmute yourself and give us your name and address.
Good evening, Candy Leonard Caldwell, Organization for Community Preservation, Kansas City, Kansas. Organization for Community Preservation has a concern or wondering why the application is going for approval before the proposed development comes before the community.
Okay, we'll get you an answer to that question. Anything else you'd like to know?
Not at this time. I'll listen to the response to my question. Thank you.
All right, and then we're going to go to Eddie Gwynn. Eddie Gwynn.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please. Your name and address.
Yes, my name is Eddie Gwynn, address 3717 Texas Doll, McKinney, Texas. I represent Northeast Development. This is to, I guess, kind of answer the question for Mrs. Leonard and to the rest of the staff. When we initially started this project, we actually had 2 community outreaches. We did go to Douglas Sumner. We did also meet with, oh my gosh, Northeast, I'm forgetting the name of that organization. But we had 2 or 3 community meetings to where we did propose to the community what exactly we were going to do. I apologize, Ms. Caldwell, Ms. Leonard, if we did not address or come to your particular organization. But in the beginning, like I said, we did make every effort to make the community groups within that immediate area aware of what we were doing. And we also brought that before the commission at the time because we had the support of the community groups that came and spoke on our behalf at the time that we submitted for this project. So just wanted to make that clarification that we did in fact go to the community to let them know what we're doing. And we do apologize if we did not include your particular group.
All right. Can you just tell us real quick, what is the intention for the development?
Yes, sir. Northeast Development will be responsible for the corner development, which will be a financial institution. There will be a credit union that will be anchoring the corner at 13th and Stewart or 13th and Parallel. Vibrant Health will go in the middle with a medical plaza. To the west of that, we will be doing 24 townhomes in the residential component. That will make up the first phase of the development.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to this case in favor or in opposition?
Just like.
I'm sorry, Mr. Anderson?
Like to add to Candy that it will still come in front. This is just the first stage. So it will go through a development phase where we have to come. So we're not shirking that. We're just basically doing this to clean up the land.
There you go. We're cleaning up the land and we'll get to the good stuff later. All right, thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and go to staff and get their comment.
Greg Kendall has his hand raised.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kendall, go ahead. Greg Kendall.
There. Now we can meet. This is Greg Kendall with Wyandotte Development Council. Just wanted to weigh in and say that we are very much supportive of this project and the processes that they've gone through to bring this forward. We've recently had an opportunity to meet with Vibrant Health just to get a status of their project. And again, just wanted to weigh in and say that we think this is a great addition to the Northeast. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Kendall. Okay, at this time, we'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his comment.
Thank you, Chair. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission approval of 13th and parallel preliminary plat 2025-010, subject to all comments and suggestions outlined in the staff report.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion when ready.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve plat 2025-010, subject to staff stipulations and comments.
Thank you. Motion for approval of plat 2025-010 made by Commissioner Ward, seconded by Commissioner Ernst. Is that correct?
With no small sense of irony, given my ancestral home was at 1710 Stewart.
Oh, very good. Well, thank you. That was a great second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
was that an aye?
Yeah, it is.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, next application is plan review application PR 2025-014 Kate Lynch with Atlantic AE LLC. It is a final development plan to construct a new drone pad site at an existing Amazon facility at 6925 Riverview Avenue. The following items were included as part of record for this case. The city's currently adopted zoning and subdivision regulations, the official zoning map for the area in question, the city's currently adopted master plan for the area in question, the staff reports and attachments dated May 12th, 2025, the application and other documents, plans, pictures, and maps submitted by the applicant, and the notices to property owners. Does anyone have any contacts to disclose on behalf of this application?
No.
Okay.
For those of you online, just wait 1 second. Clearing up a couple things here. Yes, sir. Are you representing Ms. Lynch? I see she's online as well.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sam Bailey with Amazon. I'm the Senior Manager for Economic Development Policy. We're the tenant at the site.
Okay.
We are joined by Kate Lynch from Atlantic, who's our engineering firm. But as Amazon, based on the nature of the project, we wanted to be here to discuss what we are proposing at our MKC6 Fulfillment Center.
All right. Thank you. You want to tell us what we're going to do tonight or what you want to do?
Sure. We are just pulling up a PowerPoint for our project. Amazon is looking to integrate our Prime Air drone delivery business here in Kansas City, Kansas at our MKC6 location, which is located at 6925 Riverview Avenue in Kansas City, Kansas. This site is currently home to more than 2,500 Amazon employees serving the Kansas City region and surrounding communities. This site was chosen because it is a high-performing site in Amazon's fulfillment center network. We feel this is a great opportunity not only to create net new jobs at this site, but also to bring innovation to this site to continue to deliver for our customers. Prime Air is Amazon's drone delivery business. We've been in business conducting drone delivery since 2022 with operations in College Station, Texas and Tolleson, Arizona. That's the West Phoenix area. We also operate a test site in Pendleton, Oregon, where we are able to test and push our drones to the limit to make sure that we have generated the safest outcomes for delivering for our customers. We're just pulling up a PowerPoint right here. The visual aid will be of great assistance as we go through here. We've obtained FAA, Federal Aviation Administration approval to operate in communities where we offer the service. And part of the conversation tonight is highlighting that we're here to discuss a local land use application, but we're then also have to work with the Federal Aviation Administration to, one, be able to authorize airspace access to operate the drones, and 2, to conduct an environmental impact assessment as required by the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. So this is just one part of a process that we will undertake to hopefully bring drone delivery to this community. Safety is Amazon's first priority. It underwrites everything that we do. We prioritize that by making sure that we invest in a redundant system that can safely deliver for customers. From the batteries to the manufacturing, which we conduct in Washington State. So this drone is manufactured by Amazon in the state of Washington. The MK30, which is our drone, has an aerospace grade manufacturing process. That drone was certified by the FAA in October 2024 as a follow-on to our Mark 27 drone, and immediately went into service in November 2024. This is a battery-powered drone that can carry up to a 5-pound package that a customer places as they normally would do at Amazon.com or through the app, and it can carry that package up to 7.5 miles. It can fly in light rain and wind conditions. It conducts 1 delivery per flight, so it would hypothetically depart the MKC6 fulfillment center, climb to an elevation between 200 and 400 feet as approved by the FAA. It would then transport to the customer's home address who has opted in to utilize drone delivery. So if you don't want drone delivery service, you can actually opt out. You can even have your house blurred, and we have privacy notices that go out to customers who do conduct this shopping. Thank you very much. And if you want to sneak ahead to, that is our site, MKC6. You can keep going. One more. There we go. This is the Mark 30 drone. It is a fully autonomous system. However, Amazon would have on-site flight monitors who would be able to monitor and track each of the flights that would go out from the site. It possesses detect and avoid technology. So in addition to be able to sensing aircraft that may be operating in that area, it is able to detect and avoid things like a temporary crane that's gone up for a construction site. Pivot away from that, and if it determines it can't make the delivery safely, it would be able to return to station or continue on in a safe manner to the customer's address. The perceptionist system also allows it to detect humans, animals, and obstacles. So when this drone delivers, it actually doesn't land at the customer's address. It will descend and drop to about 12 feet and conduct a scan. So for example, I have 3 little boys. If they were out running the backyard during the drone delivery, the drone would see that and decide we cannot conduct a safe delivery. We'll return to station, notify the customer that we're unable to deliver. And so we're able to conduct that to ensure we don't create any danger when delivering a package. We can detect humans, animals, and obstacles. Next slide, please. Again, the customer experience, as you can see here, this is our drone. Customers can go on through Amazon.com or the app, and the goal is to deliver in 60 minutes or less. That customer order is taken from our current fulfillment center. It's placed in the drone at what we call the primary drone delivery center, which we'll show you. The drone's loaded with a fully charged battery, and the customer order takes off vertically, transcends to horizontal flight, transits at about 60 miles an hour to the customer's address, where it will descend, drop the package for a matter of seconds, and then return to station. Next slide, please. This is just a graphic to show you what that experience looks like. Again, our flight patterns and our radius will ultimately be determined by the FAA. This is where we can and can't operate, as well as no-fly zones, such as hospitals operating helipads. Next slide, please. And again, some photos here. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yep. There's a sample customer order there. Little kit items I'm very familiar with as a dad. Next slide, please. On April 9th and 10th, we actually conducted a sound study at our location located in Towson, Arizona, to really look at the customer experience. So this is the decibel levels, for example, the home experience of that drone arriving in the backyard for brief exposure to drop a package. And then if you're standing in the front of your home while a backyard delivery is being conducted. We also show what the experience is like 500 feet if you were standing 500 feet away from the primary drone delivery center of both the arrival and departure of the drone as compared to the American Academy of Audiology. So again, a moderate sound, normal conversation, sound of a dishwasher, and I think staff equated it to a vacuum. But again, being able to be a good neighbor with brief exposure at these decibel levels. Next slide. And again, this is just showing for staff the various points of a sister site where we conducted the sound study. Next slide, please. And then a home in Towson, Arizona, where you can see the study conducted in the backyard as well as the front of the home. Next slide. This is our prime air drone delivery a prime air drone delivery center, what we call the paddock. This will be just located east of the site in the parking lot. It's about 9,000 square feet. This is where the drones would take off and land. Our battery charging and storage center, which is in the southeast portion of the site, our on-flight monitoring center in the northwest, and we would conduct our storage and maintenance at this site. Next slide. Here's our site as it sits today on Riverview Avenue. Next slide. Here's where we are looking to integrate the paddock itself, eastern parking lot. Next slide. A little bit about our approval process. We're here tonight, the City Planning Commission, and we appreciate patients going through a lengthy presentation. But we really want to highlight, while we discuss the local land use, at the same time, Amazon would then have to pursue approval from the FAA to operate in the airspace of the radius we propose 7.5 miles. Now, things like airports, general aviation, commercial, those things we work out with the FAA through their local flight standards district offices, regional offices of the FAA, to determine where we can and can't fly, as well as taking into account state laws that may govern where we can't fly, such as over power production facilities, things of that nature, and then hospitals that are conducting flight for life operations, law enforcement agencies, and more. So that's something we work at with the FAA, as well as conducting an environmental impact analysis as required by NEPA to ensure that our drone activities have no negative impact on the community. I do want to call, originally we were going down the special use permit process and then change to the final development plans. This would be permanent infrastructure. We did send out 61 mailers to neighbors nearby our site. We opted to still hold that community meeting at Kansas City, Kansas Community College, Thomas Burke Center, where we met from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We did have residents show up from the community, ask questions about drone delivery, things like noise. What will this look like at the site? This doesn't result in increased traffic, does result in increased job growth. And as we go through this process and some of the stipulations mentioned by staff, there are future opportunities for more community engagement, also engagement during the federal process where they do conduct an opportunity for residents, businesses, the unified government to respond and provide comments back before they issue what's called a FONSI, a finding of no significant impact. So through the local process, we tried to conduct that engagement. And then with the federal process, there'll be opportunities for more required engagement as part of that FAA approval and that environmental impact assessment. And then the last slide just highlights that federal approval process that we will undertake. So it's not just approval here and we start flying drones. We have to go through a rigorous FAA process that is lengthier in nature to identify that airspace that we can operate in, knowing that not all residences and addresses within that 7.5 mile radius will be eligible for delivery. Thank you very much. I know you've had a very long evening. I want to pause there. Happy to answer any questions you may have, and we appreciate you hearing our project.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We are ready for your demonstration. So if you could key up that drone and bring me something, I would appreciate that. All right. Questions for the applicant? None. So do you opt in for the deliveries if you're a customer?
Yes. So online, you'd be able to opt into, let's say if you're buying a consumable item less than 5 pounds, you can select and opt in for drone delivery. Let's say you don't want it. You can also opt out and have your house blurred from any delivery that we'd be doing from a drone. You'd get the old-fashioned way through one of our delivery vehicles.
So it's just like if you opt for next day delivery or something that's outside where you might have to pay for an expedited delivery, you just have a drop down where you pick what you want.
Correct. And you can go on right now and see all of our drone frequently asked questions. We include that in our application, privacy, things of that nature, but it's completely up to the customer to decide as to how they want it delivered.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public. Anyone want to speak to this case in favor or in opposition? Please come forward. Okay, I've got nobody in the chambers, but I do have Mr. Kendall online.
Good evening. This is Greg Kendall with the Wyandotte Economic Development Council. I wanted to just speak in favor of the project. We've been working with the Amazon team now for some time on this project and the original project that they brought to the community. They have fulfilled their requirements in terms of how they've hired folks, how they've utilized the land. At this location, they've done a phenomenal job of, I think, being very good community engagement. And I know that every time we do a project like this, everybody always talks about reducing their land values. I spent some time today literally going through almost every single residential site adjacent to the Amazon facility, and absolutely none of them have gone down in value since this facility was built. And a lot of times we don't really get into reduce traffic congestion or environmental benefits. But what I think is interesting about this project, and one that we continually kind of want to look out for, is that as the trends on logistics change, doing something with drones may actually reduce the number of trucks that are on the road. It actually could be environmentally beneficial because we don't have those trucks going up and down the road. We also think that this is a great way for us to continue to push innovation. That facility is one of the biggest facilities for Amazon in the entire region. We want to continue to utilize it, expand on it, and do it in efficient and innovative ways. And so we encourage you all to support this. I know that there have been some questions about the materials they're using. However, we believe that it's internal to the site and that the fencing that they plan to use will hide the facility. The only other thing I would say personally, and you all may or may not bring it up, but on page 18, 19 of the staff report, we do take personally some issue with bringing out some issues related to the other Amazon facility that I don't think belongs in this report. And frankly, I think there's a difference of opinion about the issues on the other location. So I just point that out because folks do read those reports, and I personally think that it should be focused on just this facility. Thank you, appreciate it, and hope that you all will support this.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kendall. Anyone else? All right, thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and close the public part of the meeting. We'll go to Mr. Lucas and get his comment.
Thank you, sir. Staff recommends to the City Planning Commission approval of petition PR 2025-014 for all comments, suggestions outlined in staff report.
All right, thank you. Any questions for staff? Commissioner Moeller.
I'm just curious how many of these drones might be in the air at any given time, or how many flights might take place during a given day.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Bailey, go ahead and address that.
Thank you, Commissioner. We anticipate initial launch there to be 10 to 15 drones stationed at the site. For the NEPA comment period, we've calculated a long scale estimate of 250 flights per day. We're giving them the longer or the kind of the higher upper band of that, just so they can look at the total environmental impact that may be projected. But that is currently the assessment we provided. This will be, for us to grow, it will require organic customer growth of individuals opting into it. But at least for initial start, we imagine 10 to 15 drones stationed at the site.
Good, Commissioner Mueller?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
And is this the first area to deploy this, or has it been done elsewhere in the Midwest or in?
We have current operations in Towson, Arizona, so West Phoenix. We have operations in Texas, College Station, Texas. You will see that there is a similar project that is taking place within Missouri that we've also gone through. That's in the public record now, so just want to be very candid about that. So we are looking to expand this, and we're looking at high-performing sites in the network, and MKC6 is on that list.
Can we be first?
We are going to work expeditiously to get our permitting done. We're going to do, I believe, one of our stipulations is the communication of this to the community with unified government. So, but we'd be happy once we have our FAA approvals to conduct a test flight and show you what drone delivery looks like from Kansas City, Kansas.
Great, thank you very much. Any further questions of staff or the applicant? Seeing none, I'll stand for a motion.
Commissioner Ward.
Commissioner Ward, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve plan review 2025-014, subject to all staff stipulations and comments.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve plan review application 2025-014 made by Commissioner Ward. Is that a second, Commissioner Schwartz?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Ward,
Aye.
Armstrong,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Easterwood,
Aye.
Ernst,
Aye.
Moeller,
Aye.
Schwartz.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you,
All
Commissioners.
right, good luck. We look forward to it.
Our last item, we have a presentation by Alyssa Marcy on our 2024 annual report of the Urban Planning and Design Department.
All right, thank you. Ms. Marcy, you are on.
Good evening, everyone. I promise this will be short, also because I chugged a bunch of water. But I'm going to give you a brief overview of what we accomplished in 2024. We're going to look at some data that compares that to what happened in 2023 and then some of our next. As you probably know, we've had a lot of staff changes in the past year or so. We continue to work on honing our craft, and we understand that our mission is, very embedded in this community when it comes to the impacts of planning policies and code. And so next slide, please. That's something that we're continue to focus on. And I just wanted to highlight really our values here, which is empathy, service, expertise, and professionalism. In particular, something that we have heard from the public as well as from leadership is to continue working on improving our customer service. And we hope to do that as we hopefully soon grow our department staff so that we can do so more effectively. So I'm just going to go over some numbers with you all. So you're going to see a lot of these graphs. The reddish orange on the left-hand side are going to be numbers from 2023. The graph on the right-hand side of each of these columns, so it's a little more orange, is going to be your 2024 numbers. So this is a summary of our permit applications and plans. And as you can see, predominantly in 2024 compared to 2023, we saw an increase in permits and plans. The exception of those is we saw fewer master plan amendments. We saw fewer DRC, and part of that is because we handed over DRC back to the Neighborhood Resource Center. And then also we saw fewer preliminary development plans in 2024. However, you'll see that we also had more final development plans. So that might just be more indicative of the fact that development projects are further along in the process in 2024 than they were in 2023. Next slide. So your landmarks commission counterparts, we've had an increase in all of our historic preservation reviews. So certificates of appropriateness, that's all your external updates, the exterior updates that happen. And then you have state law reviews and environs, anything in that 200-foot environ of a historic landmark. I think one of the big highlights on this slide is that in 2024, the unified government became a certified local government. And so what this means is that instead of having to rely on the state historic preservation office to review things, we actually have that capacity now, which has significantly sped up our historic review. So much so that we actually got an award in 2024 for being historic preservation trailblazers. Part of this too is due to the fact that we also were approved to be part of the Main Street America program. That's specifically for our downtown KTK area, and this will open us up to additional redevelopment resources. We also received an AIA American Institute for Architects Award for the Armourdale Plan, which was adopted in 2021. It's a little bit older, but still we were recognized for that work too. Zoning enforcement cases. So you'll see there was a shift between 23 and 24 here, where we clearly focused more on enforcement of DRC inspections this previous year. And we did fewer enforcement and administrative citations. That in part is probably due to the fact that we did lose our second zoning enforcement officer in the middle of 24. We're hoping to rehire an officer and be able to do more enforcement this coming year. And as your long range planner, it's always important to me to make sure that you know that plans do not sit on shelves. I'm not going to go through all of these, but for all of our current long range plans that have been adopted, we have implementation items that we track. Just to pull one off of this particular page, in 2024, the UG was awarded the Community for All Ages Bronze Level Award. That is a program that Mid-America Regional Council leads, and the idea behind that is you evaluate different policies and programs to see whether or not this community is actually one that people can age in place. So we're continuing that process this year, and hopefully we'll get our silver level recognition. In 2024, also with that project, we received a $15,000 grant, and we're able to install 12 park benches, including ADA accessible buddy benches throughout the county. Okay, so from this one, I think the big one that I'll pull out is, let's see, I talked about the Main Street project already. I think the biggest one for y'all to know about is that we did receive a grant award in 24 to fully update the zoning code. So that is coming in the future, and that's a full complete rewrite. So hopefully we can avoid a lot of these variances and exceptions that we have to make and shorten your meetings, which I am sure you would appreciate. There's a few others, so these encompass all of the rest of our area plans. We've done a lot of work in the Northeast over the past year. A lot of these refer to Jersey Creek restoration. We have a lot of park improvements. It was a couple $1 million that our Parks and Rec team invested in parks across Northeast KCK. Next slide. And then finally, this is just a big one to point out for me because it's ongoing right now, but our current long-range planning effort is our countywide Vision Zero action plan, which is an effort to essentially aim for 0 traffic deaths and fatalities. So this is ongoing. There's a map online. You can comment on wherever your problem intersections are or problem roads. And what's nice about this is it will open up funding for implementation to fix some of these intersections and roads. We have to have this plan adopted in order to qualify for those. Okay, next slide. So I wanted to point out this one. Technical assistance requests refers really to the amounts of phone calls, front desk requests, or voicemails that staff follow up with. And again, I've said we're a small but mighty team. And you can see that over the course of a year, we had about a 3,300 increase in all of those requests. And while that may not seem like a lot of times these requests, whether it's answering a call or the front desk, can take anywhere from 15 minutes. They can take 45 minutes. Byron was stuck in a 45-minute front desk request this morning. So when you have limited staff and you have 45-minute requests, that eats up a lot of time for us to be able to actually do our case reviews. So still tracking these numbers, but we're hoping that with additional staff, we can hopefully spread these out, but also if we fix the zoning code and we provide better resources, that people will have fewer questions. Next slide. So moving forward, again, I mentioned the Vision Zero action plan and the zoning code update. You were going to hear a presentation from KCDC, Kansas City Design Center tonight. That did not happen, but they do have an exhibit at the main library over on Minnesota if you want to take a look and see what the types of recommendations they have for how the Central Ave Bridge can be rebuilt. And then internally, again, we're working on a lot of hiring. We're working on building a lot of more efficiencies and focusing on our customer service. I will say 2 of our newly hired staff are bilingual. They primarily speak Spanish as their native language. That's been a huge plus for us, and I think that will help us moving forward. So that's all I have for you. Any
Great.
questions?
I was gonna say, anybody have any questions? Commissioner Mueller.
Didn't we just spend about $150,000 3 or 4 years ago to go through a zoning plan redo?
Yeah, sure. So, and Byron actually might be better at answering this question because it was slightly before my time. So there was a zoning code audit that was performed in 2019. That I don't know exactly what happened. That will still be part of this process. So we're not starting from nowhere. That is actually going to be the foundation of where we start with this next zoning code update.
Thank you.
You have a comment, Byron?
Byron, Toy Planning Department, basically reiterating what Alyssa said, but yeah, there was an audit done. We initially looked at it and started, I think, beginning in 2018, 2019. So I was going through that process and it just essentially got put on pause, partially due to COVID, partially between directors. We had Rob Richardson as the previous director. Gunnar was hired on April 1st, 2020. So with COVID happening, we kind of paused that to focus on everything else. So that's why there was basically a 5-year gap between what was then and what is now.
And so essentially too, just to add on to that, those recommendations will be incorporated. What this rewrite will be though is an actual complete rewrite, not just recommendations, because we want the code to be more understandable for everyone so that we're not having all of these issues of what does this mean and having to answer questions.
All right, great. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Rose, does that complete the agenda?
Yep, that is it.
All right, I'm sorry, Mr. Palmer. Sure, go ahead. I haven't stopped you all night long, so I would.
Have the right to.
That's all right.
This is a very interesting report, and I hope to be able to get a copy of it where I can read it in more detail. Again, Neil Palmer, 2600 North 131st Street. I won't address the issues of limited staff and all those, because I think that's an administrative function of the UG and not for this committee. I will say that on all occasions that I've worked with Mr. Toy, I just met Ms. Marson today. They've been very responsive, and when the timeframes I think are reasonable, so they're doing the best they can with what they have. Very grateful for that. Lost a key member in December last year that wore a lot of hats, and I know what that is to replace that. I will say, looking forward, you know, it's the middle of May. Hopefully an annual report would normally come much earlier in the year so you have to react to it. I would remind the committee and the planning department that Code of Ordinances, section 27-22C, it says that at least once per year, the planning commission shall, that's a must, review and reconsider the plan or any part thereof and may consider amendments and extensions or additions to the same. That's regarding Plan KCK. There's a lot of movement going on in the county right now, and I would recommend that that be done at the earliest opportunity, particularly with respect to planned business districts, data centers at all, where those belong. How do we do that in concert with the BPU on demand, on all those kind of things? With the recent legislation by the state of Kansas, we have a huge opportunity in Wyandotte County to be a county of choice for these developments that bring a lot of benefits with, you know, some impacts. I recently read code of ordinances from Chandler, Arizona for noise studies. These data centers have noise. We talked about noises from the drones today. That's a void in our ordinances right now that I think should be risen to the forefront. I'd be happy to share that with you and see if that can be adapted by us. I would also ask I obtain a copy of the commission's bylaws through the open records platform. I noted that they're 8 years old. There's parts of that that are antiquated. I would recommend that Planning and Urban Development and the Plan Commission review your bylaws and see if they're still appropriate for what you're doing today. That,
All right.
thank you for the opportunity to speak to you.
No, thank you. Thank you for those words. So anyone else? Thank you all. If you enjoyed the show, we'll be back next month for another episode. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. Thank you all. Hope you